All right, so this is the first episode of the very first start point of the optimistic perspective. My name is Carl, and today I'm here with Blane.
Thanks for having me, bro.
No, thanks for being here. So you're the first person I'm going to be interviewing.
Yes,
How does
sir.
that make you feel knowing you're going to be the very first person to start this off?
No pressure, but pressure makes diamonds, right?
That's exactly it. So we know that, actually, I'll start that again. We don't really know anything about you, but the inside is we do know a lot about
Yes, yes,
you at the
yes.
back end. But you've come from Ireland and then you've made this big move to come to Dubai. Like
Yep.
that would have been a huge change for you. Like what made you have that founding decision for you to make that?
Yeah, 100%. Good question. It was a build-up of a series of events. I think, a lot of stuff happened in the past, and it kind of all led me to where I am now, present day, essentially. And coming from Ireland, Ireland is a great place, but there's no access to the level of prosperity that I wanted. And I always knew that if I wanted to do something big, I had to take myself out of Ireland, essentially. I had to go where the money and the water was flowing, as they say. But I knew some people who were here, and I kind of had seen the experience and the life that they were living and all these type of things. And I said to myself, I was like, wow. I was like, that's something that I want for myself, whether it be, and look, UAE is great. There's a plethora of reasons of why you should come here. I like the weather, the safety, the access to great people, all this type of stuff. So it was always something that was on the cards for me. But what led me here was a multitude of series of events that brought me to be in the position that I could actually make it happen.
Yeah. Well, the biggest thing is the movement. Did you have anybody to contact here? Did you have a point of reference? Did you understand the environment before you come here? Like, what was your source of information on making this huge decision to just uplift your life and just chase this dream? Because you have that belief that, I can be successful if I just invest here.
Yes.
But a lot of the time we don't have all those answers. Like we don't know, okay, where am I going to be living? Who's going to be my network? Who's going to be the first people I talk to? Is there going to be people there to support me?
Yes.
Am I going to be able to run back home? You make all these major decisions. So what did that look like for you?
For me, I'm the type of person that I'm very all in. Like I'm not a 1 foot in person. I'm a very if I make a decision, that's it. You know what I mean? It's GG, and I'll just go for it. I was quite fortunate in this case as well, because my first ever mentor, shout out Connor. When I met Connor was actually in Dubai, and he was able to give me some guidance around what the move would look like. Set me up with an accountant, set me up with getting all my business licenses and all that type of stuff. So I was quite fortunate in that regard. But to be honest, it was very, very straightforward for me. Very, very straightforward. I just made the decision, and within 2 weeks I left.
Yeah, that's really good. So it's relatively easy to transition. That's really good. In that business concept, did you have the business already, or was that a new venture?
No, pre-existing. Okay. Pre-existing. It was something that I had been doing for quite some time, and it just made sense for me then to come and set up shop here in UAE.
Yeah, got ya. And so now that you've done it, how long have you been here in the UAE?
I will be here a year at the end of August.
Okay, so 1 year. And so within the year, from the ideology and belief system that you had on your aspiration towards the future to current living now after a year of experience in this successful life, what's it like? Has your beliefs met your expectations?
Yeah, I would say so. Moving to Dubai was hands down by far one of the best things that I've ever done in my life. And in the beginning, it's like anything else. I came here by myself, you know what I mean? And I didn't really know many people or anyone really at all. I just knew one person. And to see how much everything has flourished over the last nearly 12 months is quite phenomenal, you know what I mean? Like meeting guys like yourself, getting connections through the suit shop, all that type of stuff, and really finding a band of brothers that are all on the same page, and that's been phenomenal as well. But not only that, it's being around other high level operators and people who are, you know, they have ambition, they have drive, they all want to do big things. And for some of them are a little further ahead on the path, and others of us are like, you know, like maybe in a similar place or whatever it may be. But like seeing what's actually genuinely and truly possible, because it breaks and shatters any type of belief system that you have. Because you can walk out the road and you can see like a Rolls Royce, you can see like a Bugatti, you can see whatever, and this is just daily life for people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just normal. And it's like to see that, it's like, okay, cool. Like he's just another guy, or she's just another girl. You know what I mean? If they can do it, why can't I? And it's like completely obliterating these belief systems, which is super, super cool, because now it's just like you have this fuel behind you to say like, okay, cool. You know what I mean? I can really maybe make it big time and see what happens.
Mm.
So exciting.
Yeah, it's all about the risk.
That's it, lad. That's it.
So you said there this was one of the greatest decisions that you make. Is there anything that sort of compares?
Um, I think the biggest monumental decision, I've made a couple of the big decisions. The one that compares to this is obviously, like I said, investing into the first ever mentor that I got, because he really brought me on this path of, you know, online, and showed me what was possible in regards to finance, and you know, being able to generate a certain amount of to income, wealth, and really change your life around. Like that was hands down probably the best decision I ever made. Not probably, was the best decision that I made in my life at that time, because that was the pivot point where everything started to change for me. And like with that said, it's like, you know, it didn't happen overnight either. You know, it takes time. There was a lot of ups, there was a lot of downs. Like you know, there was probably more downs than ups in the beginning. But it's one of those things that I was so, like I said, I'm a 2 foot person, and I'm very stubborn too. So it was like once I jumped in head first, I knew I was going to get the result. I just didn't know when, you know, and that was a very, very big decision that I'm well and truly happy that I made. Um, other big decisions. I think the other big decision that I made, which was quite prevalent, was that the decision to change my life on away from the trajectory that I was on to the path that I'm on now. Like that again, I think was a very, very big decision that I had to make. And that was through a build up of a series of events that I'm sure we can touch on.
Yeah, we'll definitely touch on that, because I didn't obviously know any of these things until we did your reading, and that is mind boggling to think that this almost was predetermined.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
that's
Like,
crazy.
um,
But before we hop on that, you said you had this belief that you knew you were going to succeed.
yep.
You just didn't know when.
Yeah. To be honest, I've always had this feeling since I was young that I was going to do something. I just never knew what. You know what I mean? And it's like even now, it's like I have clarity, but I don't have that ultimate clarity. Like I know it's going to work out in a very, very good way. But for me to tell you like it's going to happen in X, Y, Z, I can't. You know what I mean? And I couldn't back then either. But I always knew that, you know, I had the ability and the capability to do something good, but I just didn't know what. You know, and it took me a long time to figure it out, and that's through a lot of trial and error. And sometimes it was going down a wrong path, or going down multiple wrong paths. You know, in this trial and error and self sabotage and stuff like that, to finally, you know, get that kind of light bulb moment for it to be like, oh, okay, cool. You know what I mean? This is something that I can go at, and this is something that I can potentially give a good swing at a bat and see some results with as well. So I think a lot of my life has been trial and error, but I think another good way to put it is lessons, because, you know, I'm a firm believer that the same cycle will always repeat unless you learn the lesson. You know, and there was lessons that I had to learn, and growing that I had to do, and things like that. And, you know, thank God, alhamdulillah, I've learned these lessons, and I've done the growing and stuff like that. But it's life is a forever thing, you know. It's you're never done growing, you're never done learning lessons, you know. But I think there were certain patterns that were always happening, and until I broke those patterns, it wasn't until then until I was set free, essentially.
Oh, yeah, very powerful. So
Mm.
you saw a meaning in suffering and you were able to see a reoccurrence and give meaning to them.
Mm.
There's also a sort of like symbology
Yep.
towards everything. And it wasn't until you overcome these things
Mm.
is until you had the vocabulary
Yes.
to move to the next lesson.
Yes. Yeah. 100%. 100%. It's quite interesting. And when I look back now, the reason why I self sabotaged, I think, was that number one, I didn't feel like I deserved the results. Number two is that I always felt that, I had to make myself something else to fit the environment when it wasn't really true to me. And lo and behold, that was another thing that we can touch on but because for me as well, it's like I have to live righteous, I have to live true. Because I wasn't doing that, I was getting this knock on effect from it, and it wasn't until I was able to kind of swallow that and accept it for what it is, and take the necessary measures to change it, that I seen that growth. Then when I started to do that, which is quite interesting.
Yeah. You said a major point that you said you felt like you didn't deserve it.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that?
Um, it's an interesting one, to be honest. I think when you don't see a lot of people succeed. You're taught to think that money is bad. You're taught to think that successful people like are X, the Y, or the Z, or when just the environment that you're in, there's not a lot of people that are seeing major success. So it's like you kind of match yourself to that environment. And it wasn't really till I started to look outside of that, and seeing that, like, okay, cool, like this guy's doing this girl's doing this, yada yada yada, whatever it may be. And just recognizing this, like, okay, cool, these are just normal people too. It's like, if they can do it, why can't I? And I kind of knew in a sense as well of like what I was doing and where I was at that time wasn't the place that I should have been. But the self sabotage, I think it came from a place of fear too.
Mm.
I think it came from a place of, fear of failure, fear of, what other people might think, fear of doing something that's not a lot of people do. I think it was just that fear, and it was really just inner work that I had to do. And I think once I battled that and overcame it is where I started to make leaps and bounds. But I'm a firm believer. I genuinely think before any big change has to come, I think you need to see rock bottom. I think you really need to go to the lowest places of human existence for you to really, really, really make a big change. Fortunately and unfortunately, it was meant to be, and these are the things that are meant to happen. I wouldn't wish it on anybody, but I think only when you're in that rock bottom, I think you have to see the bottom of the mountain before you see the top, essentially.
I like that. That's a very strong.
For sure, man, for sure.
No, that's beautiful. And on my side, working with a lot of people and doing these readings and understanding these people and their stories and backgrounds,
Yeah.
which I want to bring to the light of day,
For sure.
is you're not wrong. There is a righteous path through the course of suffering,
Mhm.
and I see that template a lot in people.
Yeah, yeah.
But there also is some people have undying optimistic approach since birth, and
Yeah.
they were lucky and they've gotten successful just by walking down a path of just
For sure.
ignorance to suffering.
Yes, yes.
They're like
yeah.
this undying optimism.
Mhm.
And I want to go back on that point how it's like you knew you were going to be successful, sort of like an intuition.
Yep.
Would you say that you coupled that with faith as well?
Yeah, 100%. Faith has become a massive part of my life. To tell you that it was always there as strong as it is now, no. You know what I mean? If I said that, I'd be lying. But I think when I was in this transition period of coming from the bottom of the mountain essentially to starting to begin to climb the mountain, I had no choice because I lost everything, and the only thing that I had was faith essentially, and I had to put that into something. And obviously there's something bigger out here than all of us. That's for certain. And I prayed every day. every day, morning, noon, and night, 3, 4, 5 times a day, consistently for a long, long time. And it's something that I actually have wrote on a whiteboard in the apartment now at the minute. And this is the sentence is, "This is what you prayed for." And it's that consistent reminder of like, okay, cool, like this, like if you put your time, your energy, and your effort into something, and you put faith on it as well, it's like it will materialize. It won't happen overnight, but it will materialize. And yeah, faith is number one. You gotta be grateful.
That's exactly it. I believe the saying is if you have faith the size of a mustard seed, you
Hmm.
can move mountains.
Yes, yeah, I like that. I like that. That's for sure, man. For sure, you gotta have faith, 100%.
In that faith, this by the sounds of it, a strong resonating faith. Did you ever have doubt? Like, oh, what if I'm this isn't real? Because we
Hmm.
see a lot today. There's things like simulation theory. We're
Hmm.
getting movies like Disclosure Day come out, which
Hmm.
talks about aliens, and
Hmm.
they appear to you in the form of an animal before
Yes,
they, before
yeah,
they talk to you.
100%.
And well, like quantum duality, where light is a wavelength and it's a particle, depending on if you observe it. And so all
Hmm.
these things come out, and you don't know what to believe anymore. Was
Yeah.
there ever a disturbance in the faith?
Separate of the serpents in the faith. Look, I believe in a term called analysis paralysis. You know what I mean? And it's like when too many things come at you at once and nothing ever absorbs. So you need to pick and choose like what you want to put your time and effort and energy into. And yes, there is multiple different things that you can say like, okay, cool. What if it's this? What if it's that? But the one thing that I wanted to put my faith into was the clean and pure energy. That's what I wanted to put it into. I wanted to put it into something clean and pure energy because the energy that I was attached to prior to that was dark. It was a dark energy. So I knew that I needed to eradicate that and start putting my time, my effort, and my energy into this more clean, pure energy. Um, and that's what I gave my full focus to. But to answer your question in regards to doubt, I think everybody has doubt, but it's about who can block it out the quickest and who can flip the script and change the doubt into confidence. And it's like you call it manifesting or whatever you want to call it, but a great analogy is that like if you're on one side of the bridge, what dictates how quickly you cross the other side of the bridge is the level of doubt that you have. So the less doubt that you have in your mind about what you're going to achieve or where you're going to go, the quicker you're going to cross the bridge, essentially. Now, everybody has doubt. Anybody who tells you that they don't is more than likely lying to you because we're only human. But the key to it is that when you do get these doubtful moments, because they come, you know what I mean? Everybody's a ruthless self-critic. But when you do get these levels of doubt, it's about how quickly you can change your mindset. You know what I mean? And I'm a firm believer on self-programming because I've done it for many, many, many years. And I believe that I can attribute that to the mindset I have now is because I've programmed myself in that way. And yeah, self-programming. If you're not doing it, start doing it.
I love your ideology
Mhm.
and your vocabulary. I can definitely tell just by listening to you that you've been through a lot in life just to
Mhm.
have these strong resonating viewpoints.
Yeah, 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 100%.
Crazy.
Look, I don't think you get them without um, experience because, like I said, it's like I nearly see what happened and the path as like it was like a rebirth essentially. You know, if you want to call it that, the phoenix rises from the ashes, that type of thing. Um, But I think when you're fully stripped back and there's nothing there, you're like, Play-Doh. You guys have Play-Doh in Australia. It's like you can build a mold in whatever way that you want. And I decided that I wanted to create a different type of life, a different type of experience, and that I was going to be the decider in what way I wanted to think, what way I wanted to do, and try my very very best to form it in a positive manner, essentially. So yeah,
Like rewiring your brain. A lot of scientists call that neuroplasticity,
yes,
a complete fundamental rebirth.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
you said, the phoenix rising.
yeah, 100%,
It's
man,
powerful.
100%. It's super true though.
Yeah. If we tap back into the foundations of doubt,
Hmm.
after we met
Hmm.
and we did this reading,
Yeah,
post that reading
yes,
and the fundamental evidence
yeah.
that it provided to you,
Hmm.
that was mind blowing due to the lack of information we provided to it,
Yes.
did that remove doubt within faith?
Oh, 100%. 100%. Yeah. It's a bit hard to argue with that one, Carl. You know what I mean? But it's, nah, absolutely. Absolutely. The biggest thing for me was that clarity in a sense. It's like something that I knew, but like to hear it reaffirmed by, it's very difficult to argue or deny. Like I said, I didn't know what was going to come or how it was going to come into fruition, essentially, but I knew it was going to come.
Mm.
I'm still not 100% certain on how, but I know it will. You
Yep.
know what I mean? So it's like you can take that relaxed approach now to life, that it's like, okay, cool. I know if I stay true to me and do the right thing, and then you know what I mean, like keep myself on the righteous path, it's like these things will materialize and they'll come into fruition. So it's it gives a lot of hope, it gives excitement, and it gives curiosity, I guess, as well as a good word to describe it.
Yeah, like a higher level of wanting desire towards a conscious understanding.
Yes, yes, for sure, 100%. I'd agree
Yeah.
with that.
I like to think of it as after these readings are done, it provides that compass because it's like in life, you have to walk through faith, through doubt, through
Yep.
these lessons,
Yep.
and you don't know what path to take. And a lot of the time, we don't know, should I be alone and suffer through this, or should I be with somebody to learn? Like how we have these coaches and
Yep.
these inspirational people that we resonate with. A lot of people have to find Instagram reels to find
Yes.
things that they resonate with,
Yes.
and ultimately attach those ideologies towards their own characters. So sort of like personified attributes.
Yes.
And by doing these readings, we can provide that needle of that compass to work in any condition, whether it's a stormy, magnetic weather.
Yeah.
It will always point true north now.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
that's that resonating factor is, I think, fundamental.
yeah, absolutely. I'd agree. You know what I mean? And like the sheer accuracy of how it describes the person and their ticks, their flaws, their this, their that, you know what I mean? It really gives you a true understanding of you. Because I honestly believe not a lot of people even know who they are. You know what I mean? They don't know a lot about themselves. And the reason I think as well is that I don't think anybody takes the time to actually ask themselves, like, who am I? Like, what am I all about? What do I like? Like, we all know what we like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I like a cheeseburger, you know what I mean? Whatever, that type of stuff. But if you go deep down, it's like, you don't really know a lot about yourself unless you think. And the reason for that, I think, as well, is because, like, modern society today is just propaganda after propaganda. You know what I mean? Where it's like this program and this societal programming of, like, it's just pushed upon you, and I think you lose yourself in a sense as well. And this is why a lot of people, I think, maybe aren't true to them, because there's certain things that they may think is right and they may think is for them, but if they actually looked inside and figured out who they were, they'd probably realize that it's not. You know.
Do you believe it is more ignorance is bliss or not understanding the perspectives in order to grow?
Um, I think it's both. I think it's both, bro. You know what I mean? I think for a lot of things, it really, really helps if you understand, because you know what way to operate, you know what way to position yourself, you know exactly what to do. But there are also things that I think you're better off being ignorant to. There's some things that maybe you're not supposed to know, nor should you know, in regards to like letting things kind of happen naturally, because like if you're already preempting something, you know what I mean, maybe you act in a different way that upsets that apple cart. Whereas if you didn't know, you would act maybe in a different way, and it would flourish and it would become very, very good. So there's certain things that I think you should know, you know what I mean? And there's certain things then also I believe that maybe you should just like go with the flow and see what happens.
Like expecting the things that are to come naturally,
Yes.
not out of want, but out of discernment.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I agree with that. Yeah.
After everything that you went through this massive trials until you moved to Dubai and had these success stories that you have now,
Yeah.
do you think there would be a fundamental change if you got this reading provided to you prior?
Good question. I think what happened and the way it played out, I think that was meant to happen. I 100% believe it. And like for a long time, I didn't know how to think about it. But it's like now that I'm where I am now, it's like I can look back now and I could say X, the Y, and the Z, like all this happened for very, very specific reasons and to teach me things that I needed to learn that are valuable things that I need now. You know, but if none of that stuff ever happened, I probably wouldn't be where I am now.
No, exactly.
You know what I mean?
And if we dive into this, we can say, well, those things are meant to happen to you because it's written in here.
Nah, for sure, for sure. It's funny as well, man. You know what I mean? Because at the time, it's like you can't see. You can't see what's going on. You don't understand why it's going on. You don't know. You can't fathom it. You're like, what the you know, what's going on here? But now, like that, I can look back many, many years later, and I think and I analyze, and I'm like, all right, sweet. Well, like, what did this give me? There's so many different things, so many different things, and at the end of the day, it's God's plan, and that was the plan that he had for me.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And 100%, man, I can definitely see the value
Mhm.
that you have gained from everything, like
Yeah.
your vocabulary, I say again,
Mhm.
your intelligence, the way you view the world.
Mhm.
And I think in today's society, it's your perspective, what you tell yourself, and how you view the world is
Yep.
what carries you through.
Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah, 100%, man. 100%. Like I always say, it's like you've got these, and these are lenses.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can take two people, and we can look at the exact same thing, but we'll see two completely different things because it's how you choose to view it, and that can be positive or negative. You know what I mean? So there's always the sun and the clouds. It's just whether you choose to see it.
Yeah, exactly. That's really good. If we go on to how we met
Mhm.
and the first initial sort of body language, first time we met,
Mhm.
that, oh, who is this guy? Just another successful dude hanging out with millionaires in Dubai at multi-thousand-dollar lunch.
Yeah, 100%, man, 100%. Yeah, first time we met. It was in the we met in the boxing gym, and then we reconvened at the lunch after that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I met you at the morning we went boxing. We done a bit of fisticuffs in the morning, but it was good fun. It was good fun. So yeah, we met at the boxing gym, and I think for me, like I'm a very, very good judge of character. I would like to think so. Anyways,
I know you are.
yeah. Nah, I pride myself on that. I can read people like a book. And I could tell you've got good energy. You know what I mean? So like me, I think I'm drawn to good energy. So I think we clicked. We had a natter. You know what I mean? Cracked a few jokes and all that type of stuff. And we reconvened at the lunch then afterwards, and we kind of got chatting about different things, and you would kind of tell me what you were doing and stuff like that, and I said, hey man, I'd be interested. You know what I mean? Let's see what the stars have to say about me.
And so you had a predisposition about what this entailed.
Mhm.
And from the moment, did you have any sort of rash dogmatic views? You're like, oh, this is just going to be another gimmick, or what was that belief that you had before?
Um, the belief I had before is I'm a very open person. You know what I mean? I'm a very, very open book. I like to hear it from the horse's mouth, or see it from myself, so to speak, before I ultimately make a judgment on it. Because I think if you take other people's view and ideology on things, you never form your own belief. So me, I'm an open book. You know what I mean? I didn't really have any thought about it. I was like, let me go into this with an open mind and see what happens. You know, and a lot happened.
How did you sleep that night after the read?
I didn't. Yeah, I didn't sleep, bro. I remember we finished up on the Zoom, and I was sitting there, and I was like, what's after going on here, you know? And I tried to go to bed, man. And I was lying down, maybe 2-3 minutes, and back up, and I'm pacing. I'm out on the balcony. I'm back in. I'm here. I'm there. I was unsettled. I think it was a lot of information. It was a lot to take in. There was a lot of stuff that I was like, wow, da 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 da. Even the next day, I was a bit kind of fuzzled in a sense. But now I feel great. I've got a lot of clarity and stuff like that. But it's powerful stuff.
Mm.
It's very very powerful stuff. And especially if like you have certain thoughts and you think about things and you wonder and you ponder and all this type of thing. It's getting those questions answered in a sense, like indirectly, is good. And the funny thing about it, I don't know if I actually told you this. The funny thing about it is that uh, in the build up to this, uh, I had been thinking over like a multi-week period, and I was like, I need to like thinking like what's going to go on, like where am I going to go, what am I going to do, how's this going to play out, like where do I see myself here, da 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 da. And I was kind of looking for clarity. I was looking for clarity, but I just didn't know where to find it. Lo and behold, we go to the boxing gym, and mind you, I wasn't going to go boxing that morning. You know what I mean? I wasn't going to go. And I just had a feeling, again, self-programming, I was a little bit tired. And then I was like, all right, bro, you're not tired. You feel great. You know what I mean? You're going to go and do your thing. And lo and behold, I pushed myself to go, and that's what materialized. It's crazy the way things work.
So you made the decision. And it's funny to think that after these readings, what this points towards,
Mm-hmm.
and thinking that there was a position that darkness
Mm.
wanted you to stay in ignorance.
Yeah, 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 yeah. 100%, 100%. And I think it has to be active decision making. You know what I mean? And I think that's why I'm so big on this self programming stuff. It's because there will always be a voice.
Mm.
There will always be a voice. There's two voices, and there's like I like to call it, it's angel and devil syndrome. So it's on one shoulder you've got the lovely angel, you know what I mean, speaking to you like beautifully, and on the other shoulder you got the little red man, and he's shouting in your ear and he's giving you all this abuse, and he's telling you that you're this and you're that and you're the third. But often more times than not, he's the louder voice, But it's like what you need to understand is that which one serves you more to listen to. One is going to serve you positively, one is going to serve you negatively. And it's about listening to the positive voices as much as you can. And we listened to the positive voice that morning. Yeah, you know what I mean? The angel dragged us out the door.
Yeah.
Easy.
No, I deeply believe that 100% about the voices.
Yeah.
Because isn't it funny to think that in this reading, I could tell you exactly what the words are that the voice tells you?
Yeah. It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very very interesting, and like when you go back and you analyze and you actually think about these things, it gives you an understanding of where and why and when it's happening. So you can take measures then to combat it essentially.
Yeah, I believe so. And in this, we believe it's the higher self and the lower self.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, we call them the shadows.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the time when I was doing that reading, how much of that do you believe that you're in the shadow?
I'd say definitely at some points now still, yeah, 100%. Like I said, it's an ongoing battle for sure. I think definitely still, yeah, there is still parts of me that operate in the shadow for sure. I would like to think that predominantly I'm not, but I'm like anybody, you know what I mean? Nobody is 100% perfect. But I think now that I'm more aware, I can see. It's like, okay, cool. I'm starting to do this behavior, or I'm starting to have this thought process or pattern of thinking, or da 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 da. And now I can make an active choice. I have an active decision. So essentially, it gives me power. You know what I mean? It gives me back the power away from this shadow or like lower self state. So yeah, I think it's powerful in that regard. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. It's like fatherly advice, but
Yeah.
the utmost 100% definition of this is what you should do.
Yeah. Nah, 100%. It's the flashlight on the dark country road that you need for sure.
Do you remember when we first met, when I was opening you up to suggesting taking this path,
Mm,
doing a reading,
mm,
that I said it was, imagine you don't know whether to be alone in this
mm-hmm,
or be with somebody when you're
mm-hmm.
going through these trials of life.
Yeah,
And you're sitting there like, I don't know what path to make.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And I
yeah.
said, wouldn't you like to know what the 100% truth answer is?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. It's yeah. To be honest, man, I didn't really know what to expect. To be honest, but I think, like I said, I'm an open book. So now I'm very very happy I've done it. But yeah, it gives you that clarity. It shows you where to put your focus, your attention, and it also shows you where not to put your focus and your
Yeah.
attention to.
Well, just to get a bit of a background to the people that don't know what we're talking about, because they obviously don't are not aware of this atlas reading that we're providing. It's
Yep.
more than just numerology. It's
Yep.
ancient information
Mm-hmm,
that is
mm-hmm.
applied as a unit of measurement on top of numerology to be very, very specific to a
Yes.
point that gives you mind-boggling experiences
Yeah.
like this.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And for this to generate such a in-depth amount of information about yourself,
Mm-hmm.
how much information did we have to supply?
Barely anything. My name, time I was born, where I was born. That was it. And am I a man or a woman? That's it.
That's pretty hot topic stuff to talk.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Just
yeah.
two genders.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so they say, bro. So they say. Who knows? Maybe.
Yeah, my soul is not male cisgendered.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The yeah, and sorry, that's just crazy to think that the most minimal amount of information
Mm-hmm.
to provide so much context about yourself that is truly deeply resonating. Like
Yeah,
I'm
wow.
sitting here with you right now, and I know you from just talking with you now. I can tell you're somebody who you're very analytical. You separate your emotions from the event itself.
Mhm.
You like to break it down and distance yourself from it rather than sit through the emotions.
Yep.
And so we see in a lot of today's society where we have the likes of people like Andrew Tate, where he talks about being soft and being weak and being emotional as a bad thing, and how you should have this masculine approach and not be soft and not be weak. And we have a look at your reading and we find that being that compassionate, gentle, loving, nurturing self is required to be a father, is required to be a husband and a lover of one wife. And if we go back onto the exact word that I believe resonated with you, how could this thing know that the word you tell yourself is, if I can understand it, I do not have to feel it?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. It's quite interesting, and I think for a long time, it's like again, like through the series of things that happened that brought me here. It's like I learned. I didn't learn. I forced myself to block out all emotion. You know what I mean? Where it was like to turn myself into stone essentially. And it was to block out the hurt. It was to block out the pain, essentially. You know what I mean? Because my thing on it is if I can just block it out and eradicate it from my memory, I don't have to feel it. You know? And then it came to many things like that. And then I took the opposite approach, whereas I used that stuff then I drew it back from the peripheral cortex or whatever you want to call it, and I used that as fuel to the fire. Where it was like, then I was operating out of anger for a long time, and it was like, okay, cool, but when I look at it now, it's like with the anger, it's like it gave me the fuel that I needed to go pedal to the metal and make some big waves. And then the block out of the emotion, it gave me what I needed to. I needed to be numb at that time. Because like if I was all up in my feelings too much, you know what I mean? I would have been doing the pity me party essentially when I couldn't afford the time to do that. So like now I understand that emotions can be used in a multitude of different ways. But the thing about it is I know now that it's important to feel them and not block them out, but I get to choose and dictate in which way they affect me essentially. Which was an important lesson for me to learn because, I can see the knock-on effect of using them in each edge case provides. But yeah, that does describe me down to the T. It's like most likely I think about it instead of actually feeling it, essentially. And I think that's from, as I said, the series of events. It's kind of like this default setting that is now a thing, and it's something that I have to work through, obviously. But again, being aware of it now is paramount too.
Yeah. No, 100%. The fact is this statement
Mm-hmm.
that is, if I can understand it,
Yep.
I do not have to feel it,
Mhm.
clearly hits home for you because you have such a background
Mhm.
toward that. Was
Yeah.
that more like the words you say to yourself, or was it more of a feeling, that statement?
Um,
If I can understand it, I do not have to feel it.
I think it's more of a default setting.
So it's like within
Yeah, I think it's a default setting.
soul.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so. But it's from trauma. It stems from trauma, 100%. You know what I mean? Like, and I know that. Because like these traumatic experiences and stuff like that, it's like you don't want to live them. You know what I mean? You don't want to be there, so you'll block it out. You'll do whatever it takes not to for that not to be your existence. Well, that was in my case anyway. It's like I would have done anything just for what was happening not to be happening or for it not to be real. So I just chose to block it out and lied to myself consistently. You know what I mean? That it wasn't happening. That things were better off than it was. You know what I mean? Like you play these mind games with yourself, but it's a self-preservation thing. And that's what it is. It's a self-preservation. But again, like I said, it's that there at that time was the most beneficial for me thing to me to do. And then again, dragging them forward and using them as fuel was another beneficial thing for me to do. But I think at this stage now, it's important for me to have a balance of being like, okay, cool, like to take it in, to analyze it, to feel it, not just to think about things. It's to actually genuinely like ask myself, all right, sweet, like how do I actually feel about this thing? And you know, you're right as well. It's one of those things where with men nowadays as well, it's like, you know, don't do this, don't do that, ratatata, whatever it may be. But it's like some things are suited to some people and some things aren't suited to others. You know what I mean? Maybe that is suited for some men and probably not suited for others. You know, everybody is different. Different tracks for different horses, as they say. But I think this stereotype is what a lot of people want to follow because it's the propaganda that's pushed on them, you know? And again, you must understand, is that what you want? Or is that what you see and what you're told or being led to believe that you should have? You know, and I think a lot of people, when they actually kind of understand, like, okay, cool, is that actually what I want? Or is that what I've just been led to believe, essentially? And I think that's a big problem. But again, if you can get clarity, you know, you'll know exactly what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. It's that distortion,
Mm-hmm.
that false narrative,
Yes.
which you would say is propaganda.
Yes.
Yeah, is understanding, okay, what's the correct path to take.
Yep.
But I think it is truly deeply moving to understand the fact is there's statements that I can analyze that
Yeah.
clearly hit home for you.
Yeah, for sure.
And there's multiple statements that resonate with you that
Yep.
come from a history of trauma through things that you have been through.
Yep.
But as we continue to investigate this atlas, this reading about yourself, we actually observe the past to talk about the future.
Yes.
And how is it knowing the facts that in this reading, the things that happen to you are in the reading?
Yeah.
Of the exact days, of the magnitude of what you have to have gone through.
Yeah. It's wild. And I'm a firm believer the past will always dictate the future. Fact. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a firm believer of that. But for it to be able to tell the story of what happened and things like that, like to go back and be able to say, you know, very, very specific things that happened is crazy. It's crazy, especially with such little information about me, you know what I mean? So maybe it's been spying on me all along, who knows?
Yeah, because I would not have known any of that information about you.
No.
whatsoever.
No.
And then so we get a full report about Blane.
Mm.
Yeah, how you think,
Yeah.
how you feel, what do you tell yourself in moments of adversity,
Mm-hmm.
what motivates you,
Mm-hmm.
what are the exact things that'll motivate you, what things shouldn't you do in moments of opportunity,
Yep.
and also the future.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's super interesting to go back and be able to tell me like the years that certain things happened and why they happened and all this type of stuff, and then obviously then fast forward if you want to future pace it, it's what's to come, why it's coming, how to handle, how to deal, all this type of stuff is, yeah, it's wild,
Yeah.
wild.
And so having such faith in not only God, but also within this reading,
Mm-hmm.
that how is it that you have that faith in the future projections of this reading? How is it that when I gave you this information, you strong held that belief and attributed it to this is now me?
Mm.
Or was it more, this is already me? And this provide insight to the reality on it?
It's a great question. I think it was more of a reaffirmation of like being like, okay, cool, you're on the right path, and what you've been thinking is true. Because as I said, it's been a series of events, but like I made a decision a long time ago that I was going to be in a certain place and I was going to attain a certain thing and I was going to have certain things and be able to provide and do things that I wanted to do. And that's my life's work. Like that is what I've set out to do from that moment. So like every day that I wake up, I work towards that, you know. And when you're working towards something that takes time, that doesn't happen overnight. Obviously, there's, you know, your mind plays tricks on you, and some days you feel like a hot shot, and other days you don't feel so hot. You know what I mean? But that's life, and you know, having clarity about, okay, cool, like what you're doing is right and you're on the right path and these things will happen as long as you do X, the Y, and the Z. It's very reassuring in a sense as well, because I think that's where a lot of people get lost, because they never know if the thing they're fighting for is actually going to come into fruition. You know what I mean? And why a lot of people give up. But I think having that reassurance that it's going to happen, you know, when you're on the right path and just continuing to put in the work, essentially.
Do you feel you have an advantage knowing the future?
Ah, an unfair advantage. um, I would say so, yes, but I think from a mental standpoint, because you know I know it's going to happen, and again, it kind of just gave me the peace, you know, but not in a sense of complacency. Actually, quite the opposite. It's like now I know. It's like, okay, cool. The fruits of my efforts, they will be rewarded, but it's just continuing to double down, go harder, essentially.
No, exactly. But the thing that I can't help is if the future is written, does that mean it's preordained? And so your past is also written,
Yes.
that we can analyze it.
Mm-hmm.
And as we know, the only information that provided was your birthday, where and what time you were born, and your full name.
Yep.
And it knows information about everything about you.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you have free will?
I think I think it's a yeah. It's subjective. It's subjective for sure. I think yes and no. It's like in regards to free will. It's like I can pick up this bottle of water. You know what I mean? But with free will, I think there's certain things that are out of your control that you cannot control, and that they are gonna take place, and whether you like it or not, and they're there to teach you a lesson and to develop you or break it in some way, shape, or form. You know, and um, I think these things I think these things must happen. You know, they must happen because, like, if I speak about myself personally, it's like the things that happen, they had to happen. You know, because if they didn't happen, I wouldn't be where I am now. You know, and there's so many. I could write a book at this stage of the amount of lessons that I learned, you know what I mean? And it's each and every single one of them are paramount in where I am now.
So I'll go down to this reading
Let's do it.
about your years. And there was a moment, help me because I'm scrolling through here.
Easy.
Here we go. 18, major money consequence and major material consequence.
Yep. So for me, as I said, I always knew I wanted to do something big. Back then, when I was, say, maybe 17, 18, 19, in around them ages, I don't think I was educated enough. I hadn't got the education on what is possible, and you can do things in a completely different light. And unfortunately, there's no point saying unfortunately, it got me to where I am now, but I went down a different path, not the brightest path, a very dark path, in a sense where there was a lot of loss, a lot of pain, a lot of darkness. A lot of darkness, and it stemmed from crime, from drugs, and a lot of different things like this. And that was my life for, I'd say, maybe 6 or 7 years. Could even be a little bit more. Definitely to my to mid to late 20s, and it was just a path of absolute destruction, because it wasn't true to me, essentially. You know what I mean? But the funny thing at the time is that I thought I was exactly where I was supposed to be. I thought I was doing exactly what I was meant to be doing, and this was me. You know what I mean? I was going to be, this lunatic. You know what I mean? But I couldn't be any further from the truth. But yeah, lo and behold, I went down this path, and I was, acting the maggot, as we say in Ireland. But it got me in a lot of trouble. You know what I mean? A lot of trouble with the police, and a lot of court cases. There was a time where I was looking at a hefty jail sentence, and there was a lot of dark moments, and even for my family and stuff like that as well, for the stuff I put them through, and my brothers, and all this type of stuff. You know what I mean? I made everybody's life hell for a long time, and I lost a lot because of it as well. I lost family. I lost love. I lost a lot of things. Because of this stuff. But again, it was the lessons that it provided me are paramount. And would I go back and change anything that happened? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't change a thing. And it's kind of a bizarre thing to say, because it's like, why wouldn't you want to change all these bad things that happened to you? Because like now they're the biggest blessing that I have. You know what I mean? Because they made me who I am today, and I am where I am today because of this stuff. But I learned a lot of lessons, and I know you mentioned a financial one as well. It's like I was in a lot of debt. You know what I mean? I was in a lot of debt. I had to.
If we go ballpark figures, it says he was a major.
Yeah, it was up there. It was up there. You know what I mean? It was a hefty enough number. And what that was is I was here, and after all of this, I was completely broken, in more ways than one. Financially, mentally, physically, emotionally, everything. I was destroyed. And I'll never forget where I was, because everybody had disowned me at this time. You know what I mean? Because I brought so much shame and so much trouble, and there was like this dark cloud just followed me all the time, and nobody wanted to be around me, which is completely understandable. Self-preservation. You know what I mean? Why would you want to be around something that attracts this badness? Lo and behold, and anyways, I was in this rebuild phase, so I was trying to pay off these debts that I had, and I was trying to get myself clean and get off the drugs and all this type of stuff. And God bless me grandmother. She's one of a kind for sure. But she gave me a place because I was living in hostels. I remember coming out of a rehabilitation centre I was trying to get myself clean. Nowhere to go. I remember sleeping in parks and everything. You know what I mean? Sleeping in parks and being in hostels and carrying stuff in a bag. Even now, it's like I live in a beautiful apartment, but I still live out of a suitcase because it's just what's normal to me. Because I've done it for so many years. I've lived out of a bag, and that's what makes me feel comfortable. It's like even I have ginormous wardrobes, I don't put anything in them. You know what I mean? And that's still things that I must work through. But to go back to my granny, she put me up in a box bedroom, and I remember thinking to myself then, it's like I used to write. I still write now, but I used to write every day, pages. I was filling up A4 notepads like they were going out of fashion, and I'd write all this stuff down to try figure out like, okay, cool, what do I need to do, make a plan, yada yada yada. Because there's one thing I got from my dad. My dad's he's the master planner. He's I've never seen a man like him. He's able to take something, put it down on paper and action it, and he's very, very good at that. And I always mesmerised at how he'd done it, and now that's something I do a lot in my own life. But back then, like when I was staying with my granny, it was like to rebuild all these different attributes, the mind, the body, and the soul, essentially. This is where we're training and everything that saved me life. Getting back into boxing and fighting and stuff like that saved me life. And again, you could say predetermined. I met a very, very good friend of mine now, like probably one of my best friends, and shout out Casso. And meeting him, he was able to develop me back physically and mentally again, because I was completely broken. But I think because like he was done some service in special forces and stuff like that, I think he was able to read me. You know what I mean? He knew I was broken. And he took me under the wing and developed me again, got me back in the gym, got me boxing, got me this, got me that, started develop me physically and mentally again. And then through time of having that space of, trying to develop yourself back spiritually is where I found God. You know what I mean? Because my granny herself, she faced some trials and tribulations in her time. And she said that faith was the thing that helped her the most. So I was like, all right, sweet, you know what I mean? Like, let me see what it's all about, and let me see. I've nothing got to lose, Well, I can't get any worse. So I was like, let's go all in on this, and I started to pray every day, multiple times a day. You know what I mean? And ask for forgiveness and ask for help and ask to keep me on the right path and to help me repair relationships and da 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 da. And that was the rebuild mission. But so many lessons learned from that time, about myself, about, how to build myself up from scratch again, how to, build the confidence again, how to build the soul again, so many things, But now, operating at a very, very high level, it's because I've seen that dark side. I've built this resilience and calluses that now it's just like I can just go. But also analysing, it's probably running away from trauma too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But however, look, whatever works, as they say.
Yeah, exactly. I like that of you have to face the darkness to overcome it.
Mm-hmm.
In the military,
Yeah.
I was ex-military as well.
Yeah.
We have salute hymns, which is an acronym towards assessing your enemy as a threat level. By understanding your enemy's capability and their intent, their motives, drives, and also their morale, so how much they want to do this, you can get a accurate enough reading to combat that enemy.
Interesting. Very, very interesting.
And I can see this was a huge thing that you went through. If we have a look here, it says age 25. It is around family responsibility, that there is a great family burden. There's also relationship pressure.
Yep.
And then at the age of 26, this is when the inner truth actually came out. And
Yeah.
it says for you to withdraw, think, study, review, and seek truth.
Yeah. You want me to tell you a funny story?
Yeah.
All right. So this is mad, and there's only a few people who know this. So when as I said, I found faith.
Mhm.
So for a long time, I was not hiding, but I was very careful of where I went in case certain things happened or until things were sorted and they were fully in the clear and everything was squashed and normality could resume in some sense. But I always used to, because I was staying in my granny's box bedroom. There's only so much entertainment you can get there. You'd end up losing your mind. So I used to just get out and walk for hours and hours and hours. But I'd go to these crazy places, not crazy, but like areas in Ireland that not many people would go, and I'd spend hours walking, hours, just to get out, clear the head. And I used to go to the church all the time, go in and I'd pray, light candles and little. I was desperate. You know what I mean? Anything that I could do to try possibly make this situation better, I was doing it. But I used to go to this church quite frequently and pray all the time. And I remember being in there one day, and I'm sat down, and beside me is a letter, and on it says "Read me." And I just goes, all right, easy. Look, maybe someone forgot it, some old woman or something like that, however. So I lift it up, and I open it up, and there's a medallion in it, like a religious medallion, and a note attached. And it said, I can't remember specifically word for word what it said, but long story short, it basically said, whoever finds this needs to find it. And the reason why you need to find it is because you've been going through some pain or whatever it may be. And this medallion is blessed. It's powerful. Whoever has it, it's going to help you overcome the things that have been hurting you and the badness, and it's going to help you step into light, and it's going to turn your life around and da 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 da. So the ending of it though was, it's like once your life changes and things start to work out, you must leave this back in the exact same position that you found it. You have to pay it forward. So I was like, all right, sweet. And bro, I had this for like maybe 3.5, 4 years. You know what I mean? And I had it on me all the time. I had it on me. Originally I was wearing it, but the bit that you hang around your neck, it started to deteriorate. So I just kept it in my wallet, and I had it all the time. And right before I moved to Dubai, I left it back in the envelope with a fresh note that I wrote, and left it back in the exact same position for the next person to find.
Paid it forward.
How mad's that? Eh?
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's nuts, bro. Yeah, it's nuts. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. Some people don't believe me when I tell that, but I showed my mom and everything, and she was like, "That's wild." But yeah, it's. But look, it could be a psychological thing where you just attach a meaning and a power to it. It could be anything, you know what I mean? But
Manifestation.
yeah, like I don't know, but I just think it's crazy that like I found that at that time and to leave it back, and so it was like nearly a ritual in a sense before I left for the boy to give this back and attach a good energy to it that hopefully it can help the next person, please God.
Yeah. So you have a lot of these beliefs around energy,
Mhm.
manifestation, faith,
Mhm.
bit of science,
Mhm.
and we see a multitude of beliefs that create a pathway towards one major belief system.
Yeah.
Did this reading put that together or further create a distance between these beliefs?
Um, I think it kind of put it together in a sense. It put it together in a sense. Because as I said, like the biggest thing for me is clarity and peace, and I think if you have a preconception of what's going to happen, it allows you to have that, but it's also like it's also knowing what to do with it, you know what I mean? Because you can be mesmerized or terrorized essentially, you know what I mean? And it can be like, okay, cool, oh, I'm never going to leave my house again. because a coconut is going to fall from the tree and it's going to get me. You know what I mean? So I'm going to stay inside forever. You know what I mean? Or else it can be like, okay, cool. You're going to do great and wonderful and fantastic things. So get ready. Okay, it can have a multitude of different things, but for me it was the clarity and the peace. That was the biggest thing for me, bro.
Yeah, the clarity and the peace.
Mm.
Yeah, because the information that's here, like we can go into everything about how you think,
Mm.
how other people think about you,
Mm.
what motivates you,
Mm.
what you do in the moments of hunger,
Mm.
your relationships, who the perfect person is, how you are in a relationship, what not to do and what to do.
Yeah.
And analyzing the fact that I can go through everything about you,
Yeah.
I can see here and I can read and give you insight in curating what you should and shouldn't do.
Mm.
Um, so if we have a look in here in one of the shadows when it comes to love, because here it says that you're somebody who's definitely intellectual. You are emotionally detached when it comes to emotional meaning.
Mm-hmm.
You are future thinking.
Mm-hmm.
You have social observation, and you have this desire to be self-defined.
Mm.
But one of the biggest things I can tell you, your shadow, is you have a difficulty in gentle, ordinary intimacy.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of the many shadows. And it says, embrace it,
Yeah.
which is funny because if we go back on your articulate nature
Mm-hmm.
and the lessons you learnt in life
Mm-hmm.
and separating the emotion
Mm-hmm.
so that you don't feel the emotion,
Yes.
but yet your future wife here begs you to understand that soft, gentle nature.
To be a gentle soul, eh?
Yeah.
Um, I don't disagree with it. I agree in a sense. It probably is something that I do struggle with. But again, it's just blocking things out essentially. You know what I mean? I think it's a programming that I gave myself because it's like if you block these things out, you don't have to feel them.
Well, did you give them to yourself or were they preordained?
Well, this is it too. This is it too. But yeah, it's like I said, it's work that I need to do, I must do. But by doing the work, it gives you a very very good reward at the end of it, because I think every man's aspiration is to find a woman, that they can love and they can provide for, that they can take care of, they can provide and curate wonderful experiences with and start some form of family unit, essentially, I think that's every man's aspiration, in some way, shape or form. But to know that, if you do these things and you don't do these things, it's most likely that will be a positive experience as opposed to a negative experience. Because if you look at the statistics, it's like 50% of the world get divorced after they get married. That's almost half. There's 8 billion people on the planet, so it's 4 billion people that go their separate ways. So if you know the things that you should work on, I think it's almost selfish in a sense that you don't work on them. You know what I mean? So I think being able to understand and have that clarity again of being like, okay, cool, bro, you need to do this. You need to get in touch with your feelings and all of that. So, but look, the way I see these things is like they're not bad things. You're not some lunatic or freak of nature because all of a sudden now you have feelings. If you start crying because an apple falls on the ground, maybe there's something wrong. But it's okay to have that side too. Because at the end of the day, it just makes you a more well-rounded character when you can understand different realms, essentially.
Definitely. I think the analogy towards that one is crying over spilt milk.
Yes, that's it. Yeah, that's it. That's it. I was looking for the correct terminology.
Well, yeah, if we go on that force for nature for that humble, nurturing
Mhm.
ability within a man to be able to have that ability to open up
Mhm.
and connect deeply and not use this shield to
Yep.
block that feeling of himself, basically allowing him to be loved and to love in return.
Yeah.
We see that shut away from society now.
Oh yeah.
And I myself, I know my shadows, and they're really bad. I was a bad person, and now I've 180'd. I wish I knew this information, so I could be like, okay, exactly, don't do this, exactly, don't do that. And I was seeing psychologists, and they're going, if you think in this way about this thing, and it'll open up a window of suggestion for you to act on this possible thought of maybe this thing being that.
Yeah.
You're like, you basically like giving me a torch in daylight and being like, follow the light.
Yes.
Yeah. And you're like,
yes.
What? And now at this tall, I'm jealous because I wish I had this.
I know, bro. I know. It's
and it's not like suggestibility. Like for the sake of privacy, I obviously didn't read everything about your shadows because these are we know the truth of them. But the level of there's like for your shadows just in your emotion with connecting with a woman, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 things that list specifically. Yeah, I've seen more. Okay. There's 8 things that say specifically, and it's not suggestion like be more open. No, it's very specific. Like, don't rebel in a relationship just for the sake of rebelling.
Yeah.
How would this know that you do that?
I'm not too sure, but yeah, that's something that I have done in the past for sure. It's like it's back to that self-sabotage. You know what I mean? It's back to that self-sabotage. Things are really, really good. So it's like, how do I break it? You know what I mean? How do I destroy it? And it's a really, really mind-blowing way of thinking. But to understand what's behind it, it's just fear. You know what I mean? It's just a level of fear and uncertainty and uncomfort in a sense, you know? But again, it's a lesson that must be learned, you know? So it's...
As we see it through your whole reading, you're somebody who's big on lessons must be learned. It's actually one of your contracts that you have to.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. It's like the things that resonate within these people. It's like, oh, with yourself, I had to overcome this. I had to have these lessons. These things had to have happened, and they're deeply resonating things.
Yeah.
And I do these readings with you, and I can tell you exactly everything you had to go through. And so if we scroll in this massive report.
It's like a Harry Potter novel.
It is. It's a little bit like a Harry Potter novel. The level of in-depth of analyzing who you are as an individual takes up gigabytes of memory.
Yeah, lad.
Like I'm still scrolling to get to the bottom because if I just want to get to these contracts, because if we talk about these things, these are resonating factors. This is a big report, brother.
Yeah, well, I was quite surprised of the depth, you know, of that I went into, but yeah, an interesting life for sure.
Definitely, brother. I can see it here, and every time I read yours, I'm moved by what you have been through. But at the same time, it's crazy to think that this is in here.
Yeah, that's mind blowing too. To that it's able to understand and know that, you know, these are the things that's happened. These are why they happened. You know, describe it out and give you the clarity around it it's mind bending.
So, are you happy with reading some of the contracts? If there's ones that are a little bit private, to which I know that we've spoken about, I won't talk about them. But if we talk about the major ones, because you've got a few.
Yeah.
So your first one, which already resonates with you, is it says that you're here to learn through authority without domination, money without ego, and influence without manipulation.
Yep.
Does that seem true to you?
Yeah, absolutely. You want to go through them one by one again? Because I can think then of what would it mean. What was the first one?
So the first one is the contract of ethical power.
Yeah, for sure. I think that there's a great quote. It's I can't remember who says it, but it's like with great power comes great responsibility. Can't remember who said it.
I think that was Spider-Man.
Yeah, Spider-Man or Batman or something like that. But it really makes sense. I'm not a Marvel guy, but it really makes sense because I've seen power being used in the wrong way, and I've seen power being used in the right way. And I think unless you are fully developed as a person who has seen light and seen dark, then you know what way to utilize that power. Because you need to be very, very careful with it, because, you can damage a lot of people or you can uplift a lot of people, so it's super important that you use the power wisely if it's granted and given to you, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. And no matter, this is very befitting for you because you have the vocabulary towards this insight.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's just the first contract. And we can see that this is a deep resonating factor.
Yeah.
If we go down to the emotional embodiment,
Yep.
it says that you must feel what you understand.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. So it's about the whole emotion thing of, like, knowing how to utilize them, essentially. You can choose how you use them. You know what I mean? But you must feel them. You can't block them out. You must take them in, accept it, sit with it, be like, all right, cool, I'm gonna utilize this and I'm gonna use it for X, or I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna use it for Y. But the key to it is accepting it and embracing it for what it is, and not to run away from it, essentially.
Exactly. So you have the vocabulary to fulfill these contracts.
Yeah.
And this is another one. I've skipped over a few.
Yeah.
But this one, we go back to your grandmother and you filling entire books with writing. And it says here that you have a contract of creative authority. And it says that you must not hide your creative intelligence behind detachment or fear of judgment.
Yeah, 100%. This one is one that I don't have as much insight, and it's probably because I just haven't learned it yet. But
you haven't read it yet.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
You gotta read the shadows. Man.
Yeah. I think for a lot of it is with this one in particular. It's just doing what you want to do, and like, let's say, for an example, you have an idea, or you feel a certain way, or you think a certain way, or you want to do a certain thing, or yada yada yada, whatever it may be. It's just go ahead and do it, like, because, like, the one thing that I've come to realize is that nobody actually cares, as in, like, what you do, or da 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 da. Like, if you want to do a certain thing, it's like, yeah, people are gonna have their opinion and say certain things, or laugh, or whatever it may be. But at the end of the day, it's like they just go on about their business. You're forgotten about in a couple of days. So it's like, why should you let that dictate, your creative ambition, or a certain thing that you want to do? You know what I mean? You shouldn't really. So that one I don't have as much of a clear answer to give you on it, but I feel that I will, moving forward. But it gets me thinking, that's for sure.
What if I could tell you that your creative spark is hidden in the shadow of pessimism by having a pessimistic view? And to answer your question, I think people do care about what you say. Because, like I said before, the average person will go through Instagram reels to feel inspired and take on attributes of inspirational people. So if you're a voice to somebody who has had the same experience that you have had, and before you came to Dubai, you said it yourself, how can you operate at this level if you have nobody to ground off? Who's done this before? Who's marveled at such greatness to the point that I am at a new forefront that nobody's done before? If you lead by example, you will set the foundations for the future people to endure.
There we go. As you said, public figure, eh? Look, it makes sense. It makes sense. Even the one you mentioned with the financial one, it's like the stockpile of debt, you know what I mean? And now being in a position that I'm in now, alhamdulillah, everything is good. But also as well, that comes with its own lessons, you know what I mean? Like, about, okay, cool, now I am where I am. It's like, what lessons do I learn to get to the next level? And the current lessons that I must learn about, money and wealth and protection and all these type of things. So yeah, there's valuable lessons there for sure as well.
And to answer that one, by because you have this copy. I'm actually going through the message that I sent you. This isn't online. A lot easier to read.
Yeah.
But this information actually is the guide towards things that are to come. It literally tells you next year this will happen. This is what you must do. Do not do this. Like your shadow is like, don't be worried about financials. Don't be worried because literally it's going to happen, brother.
Yeah.
And if we go back and we see the past, you said your shadow when you were 20, I think it was, this is by memory now. I think it was 18.
Yep.
By, I think it was 19, it said... I'm trying to go by memory now.
Yeah.
That it was your shadow was loss, but then your gift was wisdom and discernment.
Yeah.
And you said it yourself, naturally, without reading this and having a bias. You said, yeah, I lost so much, but I'm grateful that I went through that.
Yeah.
You had the wisdom and the discernment. And it was around 19.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to think that, like, I have the exact year of when it happened to you. We even know about when you lost your virginity. Is that crazy?
Yeah.
You know that I can read this and say, hey, you lost your virginity at this age.
Yeah, it's wild, man. It's wild. It's very, very interesting. Very interesting. You know what I mean? But, we won't get into that story.
No. There's a lot, obviously, I'm not going to talk about due to privacy.
For sure.
But isn't that crazy to think that all you did was give me your date of birth, what time you were born, where you were born, and your full name and what gender you are. And I'm like, okay, well, there's some stuff that we can't talk about because it's really private because these things that are happening to you.
Yes. Yeah, it's wild, man. It's wild. It's mind-boggling, to be honest. You know what I mean? But it's like you can accept it in two ways. You can be like, all right, cool. You can glitch out about it and be like, you know what I mean? Let's send you crazy. Or you can be like, all right, sweet. This is some really valuable information. This is some really valuable insights that I can take and I can use in a positive manner.
Yeah, exactly.
Essentially.
So now, we talk about all these trials of suffering and overcoming and learning the lessons. And now that you have this tool, do you feel like you're at an advantage?
Yeah, I think so. Because, like I said, it's take the bridge analogy. You know what I mean? The thing that dictates how quickly it crosses is doubt, essentially. But if I know that these things are going to materialize, they're going to happen once I stay true to me and I do the things that I'm supposed to do. They're going to take place. So you have a sense of inner peace, for want of a better word, where it's like, not that there's pressure or you're floating through the world or anything like that. Obviously, you know, you must work hard and you must try your very best and, you know, you must do all these type of things too. But it's just to know that the fruits will be reaped, you know, and it will come, and, you know, don't beat yourself up too much. You know, it's that type of thing I think was the most beneficial for me.
That's really good. Because without it, I feel you have to just only trust your intuition.
Yes.
And do you find it very funny that we go through these things and you can see you're partly in your shadow and you're also partly on your higher self?
Yeah.
It's sort of like you have this pathway that you're following. And it's crazy to think, you go, well, this was me in certain aspects.
Yes.
When we read about shadows, you're like, oh, that was me in the past, but I overcome it. And the lesson was literally what you had to do specifically.
Yeah.
Like, be more open and honest. And the shadow is like lying for this specific reason.
Yes.
Right? I'm not saying that was you, but we see these things and we have the exact examples of this is what I have to do specifically.
Yes.
Like, to the specifics of, I did my grandmother's reading for that day. And so she was fundamentally moved. She's like, oh, well, I had no spiritual belief anymore. And now she has complete spiritual belief. Like, her whole, you know, I mean, I sat with you and now you completely understand who you are in and out, what your desires are, what motivates you, what you have to do, what you shouldn't do, what the false voice tells you to do. That's crazy.
Yeah.
When I told you about that false voice, this is what it says, and this is what you should say instead. Was that deeply like, this is like insane? How do you know the thought inside of my head?
Yeah, that was wild, man. That was wild. to be able to tell what's going on in someone else's head, because everybody has it, you know what I mean, and what the voice says is probably not so different for a lot of people. You know what I mean? I'd say that it's similar in some way, shapes, or forms.
Nah, different.
Really?
Yeah,
Damn.
yeah. Everybody has like everybody's is different, man.
Damn.
And there's some things in there that don't make any sense.
Yeah.
Like there's I won't say names obviously,
Yeah, of course.
but there you'll be reading them, and then sometimes it says be the be the air instead of the ocean,
Mm. Mm.
and I'm like, what? But then I read it to them, like, oh, that is like literally what I've been searching for. This meaning, like that resonates with me.
Yes, yes.
Like I did a reading last night with somebody, and they had that same thing, and that was the actual example,
Interesting.
and it was deeply resonating. And
Wow.
it's like I can't remember these things because it's weird. It's like don't be the lamp instead of the table. You're like it's like that, you know. Like,
Yeah.
like 1 + 3 = 17. You know what I mean?
Nah. I hear that. It's yeah. It's. I don't really have words to describe it. You know what I mean? It's just like, for me, it's like, okay, cool. You know, it can't be that accurate and there not be something to it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like I think you're foolish if you choose to ignore it. But as I said, like the number one thing for me was the clarity, because that's something that I was searching for. You know, because it's often more times than not, you get to a certain point where it's like you're for years I spent driving, you know what I mean? Need to get this, need to get that, like this, I have to go here, I have to go there, I have to do this, I have to do that. And now that my life is in a certain point, it's not stagnation or not limbo mode, but it's like the clarity about what's to come next. You know what I mean? Because I think for me, I was able to visualize this and how I'm living and all that type. So I was able to visualize that, and I was able to see it, I was able to feel it, I was able to embody it. You know, but this next level is clarity around that, and that's what I was able to provide for me. You know, and now I'm able to start bringing that feeling, that vision, that stuff that I was able to do originally into this next level. And I know what happened already once I started to do that. Happened, materialized, it played out. You know what I mean? So now I have faith and clarity around the next one, planning out, inshallah.
I get into it too much because I don't want to break the privacy. But there was something that I told you that was specific about this month. How did that help you navigate that situation? Was it as much as you had to go off the whim, or is it more now you have definitive answers on, like, I know exactly what to do now and I know what to be aware of?
Yeah, 100%. It was the accuracy was profound, to be honest, to give you a very honest answer. But yeah, no, it gave me the clarity on what way to navigate that situation. And again, it boils back down to the team. Be truthful to myself, and if it's not something that's true, it's not something that must be done. So it gave me clarity. It was very accurate, to say the least, like I said. But it gave me the clarity of, okay, cool, you know what I mean? It's probably best to go a different direction, in a sense.
Yeah. And like that's the crazy part, is like the fact is you have that shadow which says this is the wrong decision, and it feeds like a pathway of like this, the path that you were, you know what I mean? The lessons that you had to overcome, and you can see how that feeds that path. And then there was the other option.
Yes.
And so do you feel like you have that feeling of that specificity of the shadow and of the higher, and that's how you're able to realize you can see both paths?
Yes.
But do you feel like it gives clarity specifically to the utmost outline of the very voices themselves and the full spectrum of each one?
Yeah, 100%. I can definitely see both avenues, and I know which one to take, essentially. You know what I mean? And like you said as well, it's like both avenues can also seem promising. You know what I mean? Both avenues can seem like they're the right choice to make, but there is only one right choice. You know what I mean? And now that I know that it's 100% certainty this is the way to go, and if you continue to follow the path in this direction, you'll get XYZ outcome, and also vice versa. If you go the other way, You know what I mean? You continue to do certain acts, thoughts, behaviors, whatever it may be. You'll also end up in a completely different place. You
Mm.
know, and one is very, very good, and one is maybe not so good.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, what kickstarted me into there's not a copy and paste principle on how to achieve life
Mm-hmm.
was my position was if I was somebody who would talk to more than one girl,
Mm-hmm.
it would chaotically blow up my life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Whereas my friend next to me,
Mm-hmm.
real life example, he could have a different girl every single night, and pro to him, he wants to live that life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there are no repercussions, no negatives. It
Yeah.
actually gives him opportunity and it
Yeah.
opens up doorways.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, you can't, there's no cookie cutter approach to success.
For
Much
sure.
like within these readings, we see like, I know some people that can live in the shadow of themselves being bad people and then choose to be good and they will still have the same outcome.
Yes.
Whereas some people, it's like, you will not succeed
Mm-hmm.
unless you are specifically very much the height of who you can be to the most divine.
Yep. Yep.
And within yourself, where do you feel on that reading going through yours?
I feel like for me personally, it's again through a series of lessons that solidified what I already taught in a sense. Because like me myself, I'm a very, very karmatic person. You know what I mean? It's like if I do good, I behave good, I act good, I do the things that I'm supposed to do, good things happen to me. Yeah, lots of baraka in a sense. And then vice versa again. It's like if I act and behave and do the things that I'm not meant to do, life doesn't really, materialize in the way that you want. You know, you face obstacles, hurdles, roadblocks, challenges, but that's being put in your way to kind of give you maybe a slap on the head and say, hey, look, you know what I mean? These things are happening. You should be over here. You know what I mean? Trying to steer back on course. But I would agree strongly with that statement. Yeah, for sure.
I think you are living contractor one hard, bro.
Yeah.
Living life through lessons and common lessons and
Yeah. And you know what the funny thing is, like it's like it's always been the thing. My dad always used to say to me, he says you always need to learn your lesson the hard way. You know, and that's the truth. It's like for me, it's like sometimes it takes, you know, a lot to happen for me to be like, oh, you know, maybe I should give in and just be like, maybe try to do something a little bit different in a sense, or go about it in a different way. So yeah, lessons is definitely a common theme for sure, 100%, good and bad.
Yeah. Well, there's a few people that I know that are the Patrick Star of society where the ignorance is bliss and they succeed.
Mm-hmm.
So is it crazy to think that with something that fundamentally deeply resonates with you,
Mm-hmm.
that some people don't have that same approach where they can just be completely ignorant to their lessons and they still succeed because there are many evil people in the world who are corrupt by nature because of powerful influence.
Yeah.
They did not learn the lessons of all pain and suffering must have a higher purpose.
Yes. Yeah. No, 100%. I definitely agree. I've often seen it. You know what I mean? It's like you just meet people and they just glide through life, and you know everything seems to materialize and work out. And what that's down to, I don't know, but it's obviously it's written for them.
Yeah, well, yeah, clearly it's because of what time they were born.
Yeah, well, yeah. Nah, this is it. But that's the look. There's a great expression, and it's different tracks for different horses. You know what I mean? And like that's the track that's developed for that horse, and that's what that'll trot along. You know what I mean? And for everybody else, it might be completely different. And no two people are the same. No two journeys are the same. But the one thing that we all have in common is the end destination. You know what I mean? We all end up in the same place. You know what I mean? So the journey and how we get there is the story of life, I guess.
No, that's exactly correct.
You know?
So it's sort of like the end destination, but I don't think it should succeed the journey.
No, for sure. The journey is the most important part. And I think it's something that's neglected by a lot of people as well, is that the great expression is you need to enjoy the journey. You know, it's like when I look back now and I can rewind a couple of years ago, you know, I should have enjoyed that more. You know, that like come up essentially of like, you know, working my arse off to get to where I am now, and you know the different things that happened and stuff like that. Like I really should have enjoyed that an awful lot more, but I was just so foresighted, and it's like the horse with the blinkers on. All you can see is tunnel vision, and this is it. You're working and you're striving to get to a certain thing, but it's often the journey that's often better than the destination, for sure. I totally agree with that.
Yeah, it's even a point in sales where they sell the journey, not the destination,
Yeah, absolutely.
because it's desire that motivates a lot of people.
Yeah. 100%. There's multiple different motivators, for sure. Desire is a big one. What they say, you're either running away from pain or running towards pleasure. And it's either going to be one of them. And for a lot of people, it can be running away from pain, or it can be the pleasure side of things. You know what I mean? For me, I think it was a bit of both. Running away from pain and also running towards the pleasure of succeeding.
Yeah, that's good. It's sort of like the righteous path, because
Mm.
you talk about the pleasure is the temptation of the material body.
Mm.
And so we find that a lot, where we see a fundamental difference in the persona of the individuals who their iniquities are beset upon lust,
Yeah.
in comparison to those who live righteous pathways,
Yeah.
who only aim towards things beyond their own material needs.
Yeah, but I couldn't agree with that more, because once upon a time I was a completely different person. You know what I mean? And you were acting out that lust, that want and that need, and that you'd do anything to get it. You know what I mean? And often more times than not, it's not positive things that you would end up doing to get your hands on it. And you don't even experience the level of abundance that you wanted by behaving and acting in that way, as opposed to if you do things correctly. You experience so much more abundance. You get so much more baraka or luck, whatever you want to call it. You get so much more blessings when you do things correctly. You take that righteous path. But it's like people can get caught up in this lust, this envy, this kind of darkness, in a sense. It's definitely not the right path to go down, for sure. I'll tell you that firsthand.
Yeah. No, I don't think it is at all. And I think if we analyze it specifically, I see a lot when it comes to the more you give into material temptation,
Mm.
the more you forget about the spirit
Yep.
and the faith
Yep.
and the connection to higher divine.
100%, man. 100%. You know what I mean? I think you need to attach a why to everything that you do, because without a why, like for instance, now it's like a great question that like people that I train and stuff like that, and I ask them and I say like, why are you doing this? What's the wanting behind the why? What's the why behind the want? You know what I mean? It's like there has to be a very, very specific reason of like, I ask them, hey, like, like, why do you want to see? I just want the money. For what? What do you want the money for? What's the money going to allow you to do? You know what I mean? And they'll be like, oh, well, it's just going to get me more stuff. All right, cool. What's the stuff going to allow you to do? What doors does that open? Like, if you can't be very, very specific around why you're actually doing the things that you're doing, there's no intention and there's no purpose. So for me, it was creating a very, very strong why on why I want to succeed, essentially. And it's like, because I took and had so much destruction, now it's that I want to build for a good cause. You know what I mean? Be able to take care of my family, be able to return back my parents, be able to take care of my brothers, be able to provide nice and good experiences for the people that I cared about. And that's the why. You know what I mean? Because that gives you a positive way to act and a positive force behind you, instead of acting out of lust, or instead of acting out of envy or want or materialism. You know what I mean? You're doing these things for a greater good. So it's like, I want to make the money so I can provide the experiences, I can take care of the people, I can do this, I can do that. And often more times than not, it's like, that stuff means more than a watch or like like a car or anything like that. Seeing people smile that you cared about, and being able to take care of them, like, that's more powerful than anything else in the world. You know what I mean? That means more than any Rolex or any diamond chain or anything like that.
Mm. No, I resonate with that a lot. It's
Mm.
like money not for inherent value, but for a platform of change.
Yeah. Absolutely. Because like, it can be it can be the be all or the end all. You know what I mean? It can give you the capacity to build, create, and live a really, really good life. You know what I mean? Like, you definitely do need the ones and zeros in your bank account, that's for sure. You know what I mean? But what you choose to do with them, that's the make or break. You know what I mean? Because you can go down a very, very bad avenue and you can get caught up in this degeneracy, or you can use it to build, create, and live a pretty good life.
No, exactly. And what I've seen being surrounded by success and the different avenues on how they approach success,
Hmm.
we see there's the people who are successful that went about it in a dark way,
Yes.
aren't happy with their lives,
No.
and they seek gratification through materialism.
Yep.
And these people that do rug pulls or they manipulate, they lie, they sell dodgy equipment
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
say it's worth, better than the next best thing,
Hmm.
though the lives of those individuals are not happy and they're constantly fled in things like lust and temptation
Yep.
and having women that are only there to be
Hmm.
succeeded by the same material desire,
Hmm.
where it's
Hmm.
like, oh, if I fund them, they will be with me. And I
Yeah.
know women in the past that were not attracted to the makeup of a man, but
Mm.
only by the size of his wallet.
Of course.
Oh,
Of course.
and you just think, well, how can you be fulfilled?
Mm.
And there's no love, and it is
No.
only but the lust of this materialistic temptation.
Yeah, it's poison in a sense. You know what I mean? And I've definitely been a victim of that as well. You know, where it's like that's what I thought was the most important thing. You know what I mean? It was like the more stuff you have, or the more like the more flash you can be. That's how it should be, and that's how you're judged, and that's how you're seen, and you attach a certain value to it. You couldn't be any further from the truth. You know, it's ridiculous because it's like you could have a guy there like is a great guy, you know what I mean, maybe he doesn't have a lot of money behind him, but he's a really really good person, as corny as it sounds. Like the value attached to him is so much more than you have some guy who's done a bit of dark arts or whatever he's been doing. He's accumulated a few bob, but it means nothing because like truth be told, these people are miserable because I've been one and I've been miserable, and now that things are good and I feel much better, because everything is clean, it's pure, it's there's goodness attached to it as well. And you can sense that from other people. You can sense that from other people when maybe it hasn't materialized the way it should have, in a proper manner. You can see it by them that they're broken inside essentially, and that's what you attract, because like people will say this and they have this argument online. It's like, oh, women are trash and they're only here for money and blah ta ta ta, whatever it may be. But that's not true either. You know what I mean? There's black, there's white, there's yin, there's yang, there's darkness and there's light. There's definitely women out there, some great beautiful women that are, they want the same thing. Let me find a good man. Let me see if there's a good life out there. And should you have money as a man? Yeah, absolutely. You know what I mean? Should you be able to take care of a woman, provide, have a fight? Yeah, of course you should. You know what I mean? But it's ultimately like it's not that's the only thing that they want. They seek someone who can provide, not just someone who can buy them handbags. Essentially, do them women also exist? Yeah, absolutely. You know what I mean? Is there bad men out there too? Yeah, absolutely. You know what I mean? There's always a yin, there's always a yang, and there's always a light, and there's always a dark.
Exactly. Yeah, I like that analogy. That's very beautiful. It's like there isn't just one design of one person.
Yeah, for sure.
And the biggest thing that I find is the greatest value in a woman is every woman can provide love.
Mm-hmm.
Every woman can provide their own beauty
Mm-hmm.
and their own affection and adornment.
Yep.
But it is a truly rare woman who has mastered discernment.
Yep.
That is so rare.
Yes, very rare.
Only, I think, 2 times in my life have I ever seen such things.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I'd agree with that, man. It's what I think it is as well. It's like a lot of these women, they're stuck in a masculine energy. They're stuck in some form of shadow energy or a masculine energy or whatever you want to call it. It's like when you meet women who are genuinely and truly feminine to their core, I don't think they possess a lot of them traits. Because like the natural of them being so soft, and is what men want. You know what I mean? They want a soft woman essentially. But if you have a woman who's more so in a masculine energy, often more times than not, she will have these attributes and these traits of materialism and you know what I mean, this kind of darkness that it doesn't work. It becomes conflictual.
I can actually agree to that. So I've done not just one gender of these readings,
Mm,
and if I can provide the level of detail about yourself, I know everything about you,
yeah,
whether
yeah,
you think and act, and
yes.
absolutely everything about yourself.
Mhm.
And so I provide that with a female,
Mm,
same thing,
yep.
and their shadows, like 9 times out of 10 are always around materialism,
Yep.
gratification.
Yep.
And their wants are always around a trusting, freedom, gentle love.
Yep.
And so that's why I say the condition of the current masculine male shuts off towards that gentle love, but he doesn't open up to sensitivity. He pushes his girlfriend away. I can't be sensitive, you know. I can't open up. And I'm a victim of that same thing too. You know, your ego protects, like, oh, I can't be weak. I'm a man. If I'm seen weak, then it's demoralizing. Like, I can't show weakness. And I think that's the conflict is I see it there, and I do see that women do desire that from men, but men who are like that, who have such emotional discernment, are very rare themselves, because if you attack the ego of a man, he will get very large.
Yes.
And much like a bear, we are taught to stand up and face the bear and be big and just start yelling. And that's the same thing with egos, because who you are now is the perfect protection of who you were when you were a child.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. I couldn't agree more. And it's like you look at like the needs and the wants of like each sex, whether it be male or female. You know, often the females want they want a big bad man that they can tame. You know what I mean? And if you look at any women's story or whatever it is, it's exactly what they want. They want the big bad man, and they want to be able to tame them. But often more times than not, taming them can be a different story. But it's like you do see like when that does happen, and I think the right woman has the capability of doing it to a certain degree. It's where they can tame them down slightly, and allow them then to provide that comfort for them to kind of open up that realm of themselves. But with now men most of the days as well, it's that ego comes from fear. And ego is often, this is actually a good talking point, because ego is using the wrong capacity. Most people think ego is a bad thing, essentially. And it can be if it's used in the wrong direction, because it's like, ego can, to me, what ego means is an undeniable self-belief in yourself, that you can go ahead and you can accomplish, you can succeed, you can do things. Ego doesn't mean that you can, ego used in the wrong way is more so that you're a nasty person, that you think you're better than other people, that you think you're this and that. Ego can be great or it can be bad. You know, it's used in two different entities, and each one dictates a different result, essentially. So like, ego can be good and ego can be bad. But I think when ego is used in the bad form, what the underlying issue is that there's an internal fear inside the man. I think that it's the fear of, you know, inadequacy, the fear of loss, the fear of failure, the fear of many different things, you know. And it wasn't until I really went back into boxing, like I spoke about my friend who helped me develop and you know, develop physically and all this type of stuff as well. It wasn't until then, until I had that, I guess, level of confidence around combat, physical combat or a physical altercation, that I was able to really lose the ego in the bad light. You know what I mean? Now I do have an ego, of course. You know what I mean? I think any high performer does, but it's an undeniable self-belief in self. I don't think I'm better than anybody, because I'm not. You know, we're all the same. But what it is that it's how you choose to use it. But I think the ones who have the bad ego, in a sense, is that it's that level of fear, and it's eating away at them inside. And this is why you often see people lash out, or like you said, they become big when stuff like this happens, or they need to believe that they're better than other people. But it's an internal issue. It's an internal dialogue issue for sure.
I think you've conquered aspects of ego, because I see a lot of talk of ambition. You've turned from ego, which I believe is the self-preservation of the material construct.
Yep.
You're literally fighting that this is who I am. I created me, and I am the best for this moment. Who are you to judge my own creation?
Yes.
And I think that is ego. Ego is the self-declaration of your own construct.
Yes.
And the separation of none of this matters but the present moment.
Yep.
But on top of it, you talk about the success and using it for a force for good. I think that's ambition through lessons.
Yes.
I think you went from ego
Yeah.
and understood that the harm it can cause,
Mm-hmm.
and then you've then created a chart of ambition.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. It's the way I like to view things is that I like to view things in a way that how does this positively serve me the most, essentially? Because it's going to be there no matter whether you like it or not. You know what I mean? Negative thoughts are going to happen, positive thoughts are going to happen, good days are going to happen, bad days are going to happen. Whether you like it or not, they're going to take place. You know, like you're going to have a good day. Nobody wakes up every day and you're living in Alice in Wonderland and every day is a fairy tale. You know, it's not the case. We're all human, you know, but it's how do I take this? How do I view it? And how do I, you know, use it in the most beneficial manner for me, essentially, like that. And I think the more times you use things in a positive manner and the more times you try your best, again, to be that righteous and live true and use it for good as opposed to good is the most beneficial way to do things.
Yeah, exactly. It's like fuel for fire in a constructive manner, not one to burn down buildings,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
one to provide light and comfort.
Yes, exactly, exactly. Nah, 100%. I'd agree with that for sure.
Ah, that's crazy. Well, I can also like I spoke about my grandmother a bit.
Mm,
To provide context about what I actually did with her that
mm,
proved that spirituality
mm,
was this is talking about the days. Some days you are good, some days you're bad.
mm, mm,
Um, well, I provide readings, as you know,
mm.
per day as well as the future.
Yeah.
And for her, her reading said that she had a health routine she had to start,
Mm, mm,
and the shadow was this burden of not committing to something that
mm,
she's supposed to do.
mm,
And I told her that, and she said that's really funny because I've got arthritis, and she
mm.
was afraid um, of the repercussions of taking the medication.
Yeah, yeah.
And on that day, she chose
To do
to
it.
start it, and her reading for the day was to do that.
Crazy, crazy, crazy. Yeah, it's very, very hard to put into words of, you know, the accuracy and what it can foretell, essentially. It's very, very difficult to put it into words, but it all just makes sense, you know? Like there's nothing from the 50, 60 pages, whatever it was that came out for me that I would have fully disagreed with, you know? Are there things that I'm a bit unsure about, as in like how this could happen? Yes. But like you said, it's like the lesson hasn't presented itself to give you the clarity yet, but it will, you know? It's like, because like the past was so accurate that it's like I said, the probability is more than likely, you know, this is going to take place, you know, but the things that you're unsure about are just things that you just don't have clarity on yet because they're still further down the board, essentially, you know, which is super interesting, man. Super interesting. But as I said, I'm keen as a bean for the future.
Yeah, because you have a very good reading.
Let's see. Yeah, nah, it's exciting. It's exciting. And it gives you some food for thought. I think it opens up certain gateways in your head, essentially, because, like, you know, now that you've said a couple of things to me, like in regards to a public figure or some things that you mentioned and stuff like that. And then, like you get to thinking, you're like, oh, well, like, you know, what capacity could this be in, or ratatata. And I think it actually brings out a creative element, and that's one of the things that are down for me. It was like bringing out that maybe that creativity, but it's like unless you know what to think about, you won't really think about it. You know what I mean? It'll materialize in a different way. But now that you can actually think about it, it allows me maybe to put that creative spin on it.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm more on the sense of like it doesn't matter. Like
Yeah.
because on these readings, as you're aware, when I do them for the month, it always says like spiritual questioning. Every person that I do the reading on, it's always spiritual questioning.
Mm,
And so I've done readings on people that have already passed. And so
mm.
that's how I'm able to give that accurate description of what does it look like in their reading when they're no longer here. And so now that's how I was able to get the blueprint. And I've done that across many people, and I'm seeing repeating patterns. That's also how I'm making accurate depictions across the board in different avenues.
Interesting.
And that's crazy. Okay, so then I go back on their lives, And from the people that I know, I
Mm.
see everything is consistent to what happened to them in moments of huge, pivotal, characteristically changing events.
Wow.
And so, one of the greatest examples that I have as of recent was a specific person.
Mm.
I did their reading and it said that they were going to go back to their home country. They were living in the UAE.
Mm.
And they went, no, that's insane. I'm in a job role where I'm making 2,000 USD every, I think it was like a couple of hours, and I need to make this amount of money. I don't see myself going there. Like this is wrong. Like there's nothing I'm going to do. There's so much money I'm making here. If I leave, I will not make money anymore. Like I would be giving up money. Why would I do that?
Yeah.
And so she was in disbelief.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, on there it said like family and that. Now I originally thought, oh, this is a big thing, and it's around family and it's negative. I don't want to tell that maybe her family member's going to die. She actually got a thyroid inflammation that's possibly cancer. We don't know yet.
Wow.
She wants to be with her family to do this, and it's on the exact day, because this was 2 days ago. I did the reading 2 months ago, and the projection was for 2 months, and it's the exact day.
Wow. Yeah, that's bananas, lad.
Yeah.
Bananas.
So we can't tell exactly, because this one was like heavy family, and it was like family burden, and it was talking about health and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, somebody's probably going to die. I don't know. It could be death, but it turned out to be a serious medical condition that she had gotten.
Wow.
So the accuracy is in the element of that retrospect. You can't be like, okay, it's going to be mother, father, or yourself.
Yeah.
But there is that element.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And then the crazy part is like on the days specifically to the months. So this just begs the question is, do you have a capacity for true destiny, that you can write your own destiny, or are things literally predetermined? Because from what I see, it's very hard. It's like a thin grey line.
It's a very, very grey area, for sure, 100%. I think everybody has a path, you know, and I think some people will never ever find the path that they're meant to be on, which ultimately leads them to a certain destination or whatever. But I think there's something great for everybody, essentially, you know. But I think it's more so maybe what dictates that is how much of a shadow that you're in or how much of a truth that you're in.
Yeah. From what I saw, it was either you're going to be happy in the position you are or you're going to be sad. So I unfortunately lost my uncle recently, and I did his reading, and he had a very hard life, like a very, 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 very hard life. Like his dad was special forces, and he was one of the first commandos. So yeah, my grandfather, the first special forces in the Australian Army, force, and he was hard on his son. He beat him at his 15th birthday in front of his friends because of I can't remember, it was something very small. So just wanted to raise him strong.
Yeah, tough.
He lost his lover that he truly loved in a medical emergency. And then following life after that, 3 children to 3 different women. None of them were with him in the end.
Tough.
And I read the report at the final, and he was going to be alone no matter what. He died alone, and it was either he's going to be wise or he's going to be somebody who's going to be very angry and hate the world. Wow. And he was the guy that was angry and hated the world. But it didn't matter. He was going to be alone. That is the crazy part, is the position doesn't change. Only your perspectives do. But at the same time, there are some people that have different ventures. That's what I mean. There's no cookie cutter like
answer.
Yeah. There are some people that are like, if you do this, it'll happen, or don't do anything, you're going to succeed. It's every person is unique to what their divine life path is.
Yeah, man, that's heavy. It's heavy. It's heavy. Yeah, like, yeah, damn. I ain't got no words for you here, bro. I ain't got no words for you here, but Look, like I said, it's like it's easy for me to jump on the bandwagon because my reading was good, thank God. Um, but I think for like maybe someone who didn't get as good one, it's maybe quite difficult for them to fathom it.
Well, it's funny because we can only go on a position of assumption because of our own predispositions.
Mm.
So when I'm doing these reports, I'm like, oh, I feel really bad. There's not success, money, or going on a yacht and leaving your kids at home. And and it's just about like they have to learn about love and get married, and there's nothing about like success and business and all these things, and they're just happy. They're like, this is what I knew about myself. This is literally everything. Thank you so much. Like I knew I had to learn this lesson about being more open and trusting and not thinking this person's cheating on me and all this stuff.
Wow.
And it's just about love and human connection. And I'm doing these readings for like multi-millionaires and a few higher people.
Yes.
And they're obviously people that don't believe in any of this stuff.
Yeah.
They're going, holy, there's something that's going here. Like this knows everything about me. And then he's going, I'm providing insight towards, no, you shouldn't do this business decision. You should actually launch this other business that talks about traveling the world and elevating people. And he's like, oh, but I don't have many people in this venture. It's not going to work. And his shadow was doubt of that success. Then he did it. Bro, he has 300 friggin' people in his account now.
Wow.
And he's taking people around the world and he's getting successful on it and it's opening up doors, bro. And then all the other business deals, his lessons were, the business structures that he would contribute towards, he'd always get like done over. People would like do rug pulls.
Yes.
And he would have to rebuild and rebuild and rebuild.
Yes.
And it was just a repeating factor. And he's warning, and this is where I say some people either change
Yes.
and they have to change, or some people can just float and they'll succeed.
Yeah.
This is why it's really, really bad advice now that I know is you can't follow one mentor, because there's many people I have this example for where it's like, just be the traveler. Or the other one is be the wanderer, have discernment. It is basically be the person who just floats and it will come to you.
Yeah.
For some people, that is terminal.
Yes.
That is terminal information that will destroy their life.
Yes.
And so same thing for him was he had to actively make this decision. Even though this business structure just happened to him and he's like, this success is going to flow. No, it's a repeating factor. And it said that the current next year is either going to be good or bad, dependent upon your decision. There are only a handful of people that get that. Out of the plethora amount of readings that I've done, there are only a handful of people that have those beset iniquities.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very, very interesting. Very interesting.
That's the heavy stuff that I say to people. But the thing is, like, I'm like, wow, this is a burden I'm placing on you. Like, you have to be 100% accountable for your actions. Otherwise, there's going to be karmic retribution.
Yeah, no, 100%.
And then other people are like, oh, that's okay. I'll just drive over somebody and then get a slap on the wrist and then have some fun with my friends in jail.
Yeah, nah, it's wild. Because even like the whole flounting through life thing, like, I can't do that. Because it's like, I need structure. I need discipline. I need like a very, very, very regiment schedule. You know what I mean? Like that, I have to be like that or I'm 10 sheets to the wind.
You need suffering.
Yeah.
You need people to judge you so you can be artistic.
Yeah.
You need to have like some huge financial impact that's going to completely fundamentally change the way you view the world and money in the financial system.
Yeah, well, do you know what I mean? We've already had those.
Yeah.
Nah, this is it. It's like me personally, like it's like I can't float. And when I do, like that's where things start to go. They start to go P-tong. You know what I mean? So I need structure. I need discipline. I need a routine essentially, and that just shows the difference. You know what I mean? Some people can just float around and it all works out. Happy days. You know what I mean? I'm stoked for you, but for others, then like you were saying as well, it's the polar opposite. It's a series of consequences based on the actions, the decisions, and the way you go about things.
Yeah, no, exactly. So not one shoe fits all feet.
Nah, 100%, lad, 100%. You have to play the specific hand that's dealt for you. And I think once you start stepping outside of that, it's where things start to get a bit techie, as they say.
Exactly. And that's why I think it's a fundamental thing for people to know what their position is in life by doing these readings, man.
Yeah.
It's like, because you're not getting like it's possibly this, that you're possibly that.
It is.
No, it's like, this is definitely.
Yeah, this is what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's like fatherly advice that is like 100% correct.
Yeah, that's it. Come to Big Daddy, he'll tell you what to do.
Yeah. I know they like to call me Big Pop.
Nah, it's. I definitely think it's it's something that people should do for sure. Yeah. But also as well, like I also understand why people maybe don't want to know, because it's a fear. It's probably a fear thing.
That is actually amazing that you said that you just rewired an event that happened. I was at a cafe and we actually had a meeting for business advice because of my background. And we got on the topic of this stuff, as you naturally do.
Yeah.
Like, what other things you're doing? Oh, yeah, I provide a spiritual atlas map with ancient information that was taken from the Library of Alexandria and that's hidden from society.
Yeah,
like, that's cool. You don't hear about that every day.
Yeah.
What does it entail, good sir? This might be my cup of tea. Let us have a sip of the knowledge.
Yes.
And so I'm talking about this stuff, and the guy next to me, actually, he was literally same position. He was looking for spiritual knowledge, and he was in a position where he's like, I want to learn, there's more to life, like there's so much more. And then at the coffee shop at the same time, he was like, bro, literally, I was wanting this today.
Wow.
So I did his reading as well.
Yeah.
And it's just funny. The guy who I sat with initially, who I was providing this information, he was afraid. He's like, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. It shakes him to the core.
Yeah.
And a part of me wants to peel back the layers of that curiosity, and it goes, is it because of ignorance? Is it because of self-preservation? Is it because of maybe wrongdoings? Or is it you're afraid to allow me to know everything about you? Because it is a bit like when I did your reading, like I know everything about you. Like that's crazy, right?
For sure, man, for sure. I think the big one for me is you turn around to me and you're like, hey, you want to find out when you're going to die, bro? We're this far in, we might as well. We might as well, you know.
That's a happy year.
Yeah, this is it, you know what I mean? Well, look, it's 88 or 90, so, you know what I mean? I got a bit of time on the clock. But look, I can understand that from some people too, you know what I mean? Maybe they're not ready for it, or they're afraid, or like afraid's probably a bad word. It's maybe fear, self-preservation. There can be a multitude of different things, I think, you know what I mean? But I definitely think it's valuable information to have, for sure.
Well, because the fundamental is I'm providing a coherent evidential pattern of a subjective reality.
Yeah.
And that is, in layman's terms, I provided a measurement to analyze the soul.
Yeah.
Because how do you explain, you can get every single detail about the fundamental subconscious conscious reality of who you are as a person, what your past is, what your future is, just by only simply providing birthday, when you were born, what gender, and your full name, and that is it.
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild.
So what does it measure? What does that measure? Because you were born, therefore you are. That is literally it.
Yeah, interesting, man. Interesting. It's yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's you could like I always say, I think you can go as deep as you really want. You know what I mean? I think you can go as far down the rabbit hole as you really want to go. You know, but I think as a baseline, I think like this type of information is very good to know. You know what I mean? Because like as I said, I'll probably sound like a parrot now at this stage, but as I said, it's the clarity and the inner peace. Because like now I know, I'm like, all right, sweet, stuff, everything's gonna work out. You know, I just need to continue doing what I'm doing. Don't mess around with my shadow friends, and life will be good. You know what I mean? And that's a big part of it. It's just peace.
Yeah, I remember that was in there. Shallow friends.
Yeah. You know, it's for sure. And then like that's it as well. But again, if from that part that you just mentioned, if I'm to rewind back into the past, that's a lesson. You know what I mean? Like with certain, like, you know, be careful of the circle that surrounds you and all these type of things, you know. But there's lessons already previous learnt. you know. And like, I'm a firm believer that things will continue to happen until you learn your lesson. You know what I mean? And it'll get bad enough, and worse and worse things will happen until you learn the lesson. And then when you learn the lesson, it gets a little bit better.
Yeah, well, that's true. The only thing that I can't sit with to accept is there is unwanted suffering for the causality of you're gonna learn. Like just getting punched in the face, so you know you don't need those teeth because later in life you're gonna build the invention of a straw. You know what I mean? Like, it's that, like, why is this person have to go through suffering in order to do that? Like, I guess I can back that up a bit more with, in the army, you have basic training and you get destroyed. You get yelled at, you're treated worse than a slave, and you have to earn the right to wear the flag of your country.
Gotcha.
Right? And so you're like, oh, you're just completely battered and destroyed morally and emotionally, but you have to find the will to succeed. So you learn through suffering.
Yep.
But then we have a look at different military systems where they do it through a optimistic mindset and being supportive and happy, and those people succeed much higher. They come out, they're not narcissistic, hurting their partners, cheating, needing to sleep with multiple people, being seeing the society through this grudge of pain and misery, looking at the world like, you have to go through suffering in order to succeed because I went through suffering. My greatest suffering was personal military training. Funny too, in the Special Forces application, the most amount of input was the hardest experience in those soldiers' life were going through basic training.
Wow.
Crazy. But the optimistic side of the military, those people succeed more. They're happier, they're humble, they have happy wives, and happy homes, and they have this ambition that doesn't come out of like this hate and this negative foresight.
Well, listen, negative energy and negative ways of thinking is your detriment. You know, it's your downfall. You know, because like we're made up with energy, essentially. This is what we are. We're beings of energy, because, you know, your emotion and the thoughts and the things that are going on, they dictate how you feel. You know, and if you feel like not so good all the time, what are you radiating now?
No, exactly. And that's what I mean. It's like, if we see the subjective pattern towards these readings too. I'll just give it a pause because that's kind of loud.
Yeah.
You get some of it like some dude without an exhaust, just
Yeah, it's supercars, bro.
Supercars apply. What are you gonna do?
Welcome to the boy, Habibi. You know.
So, by the way, he goes home like that every single day. But he had somebody he was riding with that was a female, and he would drive slowly. And then I'm like, he must be broken up now because he just zooms now again. He's like, I've got nothing to live for. Full throttle, who cares? But if we go back on the topic of discussion, there's an evidential pattern, and so we see that the shadow is material perversion. It's where I truly believe the ignorance of man is the sin. The sin is ignorance. We truly believe this is us. This body is us.
Yes.
And then we feed the body through all these illustrious things, through greed, temptation, ego, all these things that make you forget the soul and the spirit and the higher self. And you get lost in, what does my body need? And people, I read their charts, and their shadows are literally related to things like, then they become agitated, impatient. They need stimulation in order to fill loneliness. And it's a complete perversion of the material self. And if we talk about ego, that's the representation of the material body. And every single one of these readings, it's always about separation of the material self.
100%.
That's the craziest part. It's like even your own. It's about acceptance of emotion and giving up oneself. By being more emotion, you give up your authority of self-preservation.
100%, man, 100%. Look, you can get lost in the sauce for sure. You know, you definitely can. You can think that, oh my God, the watch and the this and the that and the car and the house and all this type of stuff is important. But you know, like when you're on your, as I say, there's a thing that a lot of people have said to me, and I always had a great answer for it, was, oh, you know, it's like, why do you want to, what would you do with the success? They said, oh, well, like, you know, I'd invest it. I'd say, invest it doing what? They said, oh, well, I'd do this and I'd do that. I said, oh, great. But I said, look, life is about when you're on your deathbed, you know, in your final moments, you're not going to remember the couple of Bitcoin that you have or whatever amount of money you put into the S&P 500. What you'll remember is the magical and the memorable moments that you curate throughout your lifetime for your loved ones. You know, and that's what it's about. Taking it back then to what I said about having the why. You know, like how you get rid of the ego is you attach a meaning to it. You know, you attach a meaning to something. It's like, okay, cool. You know, I'm seeking this, probably not say seeking this materialism, but seeking this success or seeking this monetary gain or whatever it may be. But the meaning behind it is pure. You know, it's not for, you're not doing it for yourself in a sense. You are, you know, you want to take care of yourself and, you know, make sure you're good. But, you know, there's a bigger meaning to it. You know, you want to do it, you want to help others, you want to do this, you want to do that. And I think that helps mitigate and eradicate the ego attached around materialism.
No, exactly. It's the separation.
Yeah.
And so you have the distinct identities of what the inherent values of everything that is good and bad for you.
Yeah.
And then you categorize them.
Yeah, 100%.
That's a really good approach. What I hope to achieve with these Atlas readings is by providing the fundamental evidence that there is the soul. That like you can be read just because you were born.
Yeah.
What your entire life looks like.
Yeah.
Who you will become, how you are in adversity, what you think in those moments of adversity, and what you should think instead.
Yes.
I feel like when you reach your deathbed, you will now have fundamental evidence of this is not the end.
Yeah.
That's what I want to resonate with people is this isn't the end.
Yeah, for sure. I would like to think that. I would like to think that. You know, I'd like to think that, you know, we'll get a...
Well, do you?
Well, yeah.
After everything that you've seen.
I do. Hopefully I'll come back as like George Clooney or something like that, you know what I mean? A better looking version. But I think so. Like there's I definitely have clarity around now that, you know, the soul inside of me is completely different to the exterior. You know what I mean? It's completely different. I'm just a shell carrying it all around. You know, that's it. That's all I am, is just a shell carrying around a soul. That's it. And it's very, very interesting when you think about it like that. You know what I mean? Because it's like someone asked me questions before. It's like, who are you? And I'll say, well, I'm Blane. And they say, well, who's Blane? And say, well, that's me. You know, like, well, who are you? You know, and I'd be like, well, how do you mean? And they'd be like, well, think about it. You know what I mean? What's behind your eyes? And say, oh, well, like my brain. Be like, yeah, well, who's operating your brain? Well, I am. Well, who are you? You know what I mean? You can go really, really deep and you can say, oh, well, like your soul. You can get down to the soul. You can get down to that part and be like, well, it's like, who's your soul? You know, who is that? It's like, woof, you know what I mean? You're getting heavy then, you know?
It's a truly marvelous and beautiful thing to recognize the soul and the spirit.
Yes.
Because it is the spirit within the soul. So the spirit animates the soul and the soul animates the body. And it is a beautiful thing to recognize the spirit.
Yeah, for sure.
That it's truly humbling as a point of reference and reflection, because it helps eradicate things like temptation and lust in the material body.
Yeah.
It brings a phenomenal peace knowing that the you behind the body is beyond measurement.
Yeah.
The soul is what we measure. The spirit is caged in the soul. That's why we're in this karmic cycle. That's why I can read you to a T. Is because your soul has to go down this pathway. That's not freedom.
Yeah. Damn. It's yeah. It's all predetermined. It's written in the stars. You know what I mean?
Well, if only you have the insight of only knowing your reading and what I provided to you, so your bias is by your own actions and your life.
Yes.
Which speaks testament to this.
Yeah.
Whereas I've done 60 plus people now, and it's 100% dumbfinding evidence of affirmative reality to that person.
Wow.
Like, how do you know something like this with you, this resonating factor of, literally I know everything, and you're deep seated in this is what my future looks like. It knows my parts. I mentioned that contract, and you said, okay, well, this is because of this. It wasn't like, I don't see myself in that. You're like, well, this is a fundamental reason why that's there. Like you're proving it. You're like, yeah, well, that's there because this happened.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
I'm me, but that thing, you know.
That's it. Like as I said, the accuracy of the past is profound. You know what I mean? And for me to not think that it can't be accurate about the future, it's just silly. You know what I mean? Like it can't be that correct about what happened previously and not be that correct about what's to come. So it's yeah, like I said, fortunately enough, mine was pretty good. So I'm looking forward to it for sure.
Yeah, you're just whistling along, just
Yeah, maybe I'll turn into one of these people that start cruising now. Who knows, lad?
Yeah, but it's so funny, man, because I read a lot of these and it's like, oh, this is going to be a bad year. Should have told them about this, and it's like, you know, and I'll say, okay, well, this is the lesson you have to learn, so look out for this lesson, you know what I mean? And people like, it's not like, hey, let's just do it to 2027. Like, let's do my whole life, my past, every single day. And then I get guys like, hey, bro, what's the next couple of months? When am I going to get this job? And I'm like, oh, probably around the 18th. And then, long and behold,
yeah, there you
they
go.
get the job.
Yeah. It's bananas, man. It's bananas. But
it's crazy.
It's look, it gave me a lot of things to look forward to for sure.
Yeah. Do you find that you're living your life differently now? Because instead of just trusting completely intuition, you're cross-referencing this map.
What I say, I'm living my life different. I think, like I said before me and you crossed paths, I think what I was looking for was clarity, and I have that now. And with the clarity comes the peace. So I think that thought that I was having is gone, you know, and now it's just like a knowing, essentially, you know. So has my day-to-day changed? Nah. Still sitting out in front of the computer for 16 hours a day, you know what I mean? But it is what it is, you know what I mean? But have the way I act, the way I think, the way I behave, has that changed? To a certain degree, but not exponential, because it's more so self-aware now of, okay, cool, don't be shallow, you know what I mean, and stay in this true and this righteous path. Like, that's probably the biggest change that I've made.
Yeah, but you have the blessing of being like, there's only specific things you need to adjust to succeed. That's why you're like, yeah, well, you know, if I can do a little bit here, then overall it's going to be a pretty good life. Yeah, I can see myself being real successful. Yeah, nice, man.
Nah. I have to be fair, like, you know, but that's a big one for me, though. It's a big one for me, you know what I mean? Because, like, the staying true, it's like, that's been a monumental thing throughout my life. Is like that, and it's just a solidification of, hey, bro, you know what I mean, do this,
speak the truth.
Yeah, exactly. So like that's a big one for me, and it's become a big focus of mine now as well, like moving forward to make sure like I'm doing the things I'm supposed to be doing, I'm doing the right thing, and hopefully we keep it up now, you know.
You don't even have to worry about it.
Well, I know, bro. I know, but I'm still
on the fence, like.
No, not on the fence at all.
Just undeniable existential belief.
Yeah, like I know it's all gonna take place and that, but it's like they're just wrapping me head around the whole thing, you know.
The whole ideology that your whole life is predetermined.
Yeah, it's mad, bro. Like I can completely get it, you know what I mean? I'm on that side of the fence for sure. It's just, you know, when you hear all this information and you hear these things and, you know, it's laid out for you like that, it's like, it's kind of like, oof, you know what I mean? Let me take all the pieces back there and put them back together again, kind of thing. But yeah, it's powerful. I would definitely recommend to a friend. You know what I mean? It's one of them. I definitely think everyone should do it if they are open and they want to. You know, but it's definitely a benefit for sure.
100%.
Yeah.
If we when I fundamentally became aware of the soul, it aided me in all walks of the material world. So I was able to help a few people with lust. As you know, the whole world right now is battling with lust. The temptation of lust is this desire of connection.
Yep.
And so you see somebody attractive, and now the subconscious belief is you're not allowed to think like that because it's wrong and it's immoral and you should be righteous, right?
Yep.
I found the trick is if you're spiritually aware, lean into the lust. But now imagine that connection is infinite divine beauty connection when you connect to the higher power. And just give yourself into the lust.
Yep.
Don't shy away and just manifest it towards this divine love of infinite love and care.
That's interesting.
Brother, no mortal woman will ever compare to the image of that creation.
Yeah, that's true too, man. That's true too. That's something that I do, not in that capacity, but like with feelings, whether they're not feelings, but thoughts more so maybe, that's, you know, like things, like sometimes people could have a thought and they'll think they're a freak of nature. You know what I mean? But it's like nah. You know what I mean? It's fine. And you're right in what you said. Most people will block it out. They'll shy away. They'll run away. They'll throw away the lock and key, never to be looked at again. But something that I've always done is that I've leaned into it. You know, and it's like, all right, cool. I had this thought, or I had this thing that came up, or whatever. Just lean into it. You know what I mean? And accept it for what it is. Because I think it's the more you try to, and I've done it, block things out. It's the more you try to block things out, the more prevalent they become.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Because if we talk about the same thing, like what we spoke about before, about ego, we talk about being sensitive. It's all not accepting the true reality, not leaning in. Like Assassin's Creed, that leap of faith.
Yes, yeah.
It's acceptance.
Yeah, 100%. You have to just take it as it is. You know what I mean? There's nothing you can do about it. You haven't the thought. You can't beat yourself in the head with a hammer every time you have a bad thought. You know what I mean? It's okay. You know what I mean? Like, just, it is what it is. Lean into it. You know, accept it for what it is. You know, analyze it and say, all right, cool. You know what I mean? This happened, and get up and get on with it. You know, it's when you start to block things out and stuff like that. That's where it becomes a bit techie.
Yeah.
You know.
Throughout my life, I was hit by a stolen motor vehicle by young drivers, and I've broken a lot of bones in my body. And the way that I would eliminate the pain of such grievous nature would be to lean into it until it reaches a cap.
Yes.
And then the pain can't go
any further.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the same mechanism of this reality is suffering seems to be the root of everything.
Yeah.
It like, it's crazy. It's like the vocabulary. Obviously, for most people, there are some people that aren't. But if you lean into it with this faith that you'll be okay, that you'll overcome it, and the lessons that you learn for it, you will learn.
100%.
Tis a thing of the path.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like people saying that like, I'm a firm believer that you can kind of like heal yourself in a sense as well, because, you know, it's often more times than not, like, let's say I feel like I have pain, or, you know, I don't feel well, or whatever it may be. Like, if you actively just sit down and like try actively think about, let's say my shoulder is sore. If I'm sitting down and I'm actively thinking about this shoulder getting better and my shoulder feeling strong, lo and behold, it starts to feel better. You know what I mean? And it's like that thing, it's like, what's it called? German New Medicine. It's like, if you don't believe something is real, or you give it no power, it won't exist. And it's like the same thing. It's like, I do this all the time. It's like, you wake up at 4 o'clock or at 4 o'clock in the morning. You know what I mean? You need to get up, you need to do your thing, you got an early start. You feel tired. You know what I mean? Name me one person who doesn't. But if you get up and you tell yourself, oh, I feel amazing, I feel strong, I feel the best I've ever felt in my whole entire life, lo and behold, that's how you're going to feel. You know, and you can really, really dictate these things through the power of the mind as well, of like how you feel and stuff like that. And to bring it back to the point that you said about the lust and stuff like that, it's like, it's the same thing. You can dictate how you feel, but it just depends on what way you utilize it. You can either lean into it and see it for a good, You know what I mean? Where you get this pureness from the lust, you know, or else you can see it for what it really is, and you can go down this alleyway of degeneracy. You know?
I think the term is sugar pills.
Yeah, placebos.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. Nah,
I wasn't shot in war. This
Yeah.
isn't a bullet wound.
nah, I feel
This is but a little touch from a bee.
yes, I feel great. You know what I mean? But
50 cal to the chest. You're like, nah, it was nothing. It was just the bees.
yeah, that's it. Big black hole in the middle of them.
Yeah, you're like, you're missing a limb. No, I'm not.
Yeah.
It is a matter of the mind, good sir.
Nah, it's
I think there's a limit.
yeah, nah. Of course, there's a limit for sure.
Yeah.
But it is powerful stuff as well. Like I've always said, the mind is a delicate thing, and the mind is a powerful thing at the same time. You know what I mean? It's fragile and powerful, and it's something that you should definitely take care of for sure. Be very, very cautious of what you put in. You know what I mean, to it, because you know you can poison it, and you can cause a lot of damage putting in the wrong stuff, especially with today's propaganda.
Yeah, you're big on the propaganda, aren't you?
Oh, lad.
What is the information of misinformation? We should assess both. Well, this is what the other thing, which is there's a multitude of factors towards why people should get this done. And that's the other thing, is the perversion of the mind. Is how deep does that shadow affect oneself?
Yeah.
So we can see that.
Yeah.
We can see exactly the full potential of how dark you can truly be.
Oh yeah, 100%. You know what I mean? And it's there's I think everybody has a certain amount of capability, but I think more so some more than others.
Oh yeah, I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
After 60 readings, like, you're in the top 3%.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, so that's in success. But literally the people that I do their readings for them, they are truly like, I'm happy with this. It's like, okay, because what I am striving for, what you're striving for, requires this ambition, requires constant growth and lesson and learning and success and visionary. Whereas other people, their life is just, how do I understand to become a better partner? And so for me, that's unfulfilling, and for you, that would be unfulfilling as well. But to the individual perspective, it's
everything to them.
Complete peace and harmony. They're like, thank you so much. Like, I know.
Yeah, that's it. Like I said, different tracks for different horses. You know what I mean? Like, if that's what is for you, that's for you. You know what I mean? But for the likes of myself or yourself, for us, that's, you know, not so good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, because it wouldn't make sense. Like, oh, you're a lion, now let's act like a tiger.
Yeah,
You're like, what?
Yeah.
This does not make sense, good sir.
Yes, there's a decalibration there for sure.
Hypocrisy, I say.
100%, bro, 100%.
No. That's really crazy, but that's really good that I can provide that. So
Appreciate it.
Deep insight into
Yes, sir.
what it is you can achieve.
Yes,
Now you
sir.
have a comprehensive guide toward yourself.
Yes, for sure. I'm excited to run with it now and let it play out, and you know what I mean. Hopefully I'll be popping you a few messages over the next couple of years, and saying, "Hey, Carlito, you were right, my friend."
yeah, I've already gotten a few of those. So
Aye, there you go. Well, look, a few more won't hurt, bro.
Yeah.
You know?
Especially in your success, I really want to hear what this one is in the future about. You going on this vacation, you leave your kids at home.
Yeah, let's.
But then you come back and it's good by the sounds of it. So
yeah, well, look, that's. I'm excited to know myself. Lad, to be honest. But we'll see. Only time will tell.
that's exactly it.
For sure.
Or maybe the obstacle is time, because it's already predetermined. Now it's just like, hurry up and get there.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean. Stick the fast forward on. You know what I mean. But then you miss out on good dates too. I think you just have to live it out and see what happens.
No, exactly. Wait, I have this thing, like, you know how the Simpsons can read into the future? What happens if they're using the same system?
Most likely they probably are.
Yeah. Just a food for thought to throw into the fire of conspiracy.
Yeah, there you go. You know what I mean. Get Alex Jones onto that one. You know what I mean? Well, it's look. Do I think that there's other entities and things out there that have this information? Yeah, probably. Yeah, 100%. You know what I mean? There's stuff out there that's much bigger than all of us, you know. But it's like I said as well. It's you can go as far as you want down that rabbit hole, but at a certain point, where does it stop becoming beneficial to you? You know what I mean?
Depends on the person.
Exactly, exactly. You know what I mean? Because it's like that might be someone's path. You know what I mean? For them to do that thing, but for another person, it might be like, all right, sweet. You know what I mean? There's a choke point. There's a cut off essentially. But yeah, I think you can go as deep as you want. You know what I mean? There's a lot of depth to it. But yeah, some interesting stuff. You know what I mean? Just bring this into schools.
Bring this into schools. All right, kids, what do you want to learn about the capability of your futures?
Yeah, you know what I mean?
They just get a comprehensive guide to their entire life and like, don't be this person, don't do that person.
Yeah.
I think everybody would be like, it's the government, like they made these kids have limiting beliefs.
Yeah, little Johnny's going to be a rock star.
Well, little Johnny, back in 2026, this was something that we had to fight for. This is the existential truth of our reality.
But this is it, you know what I mean? I seen a great video there the other day with this man, you know, Simon Squibb.
I'm better with faces. I'm terrible.
So he goes around, he asks people, and he goes to them in the street. He says, "Do you have a dream?" You know?
Oh yes.
This guy. Yep. So he was talking to this older gentleman, and it was about the college, about the third level education system, and about getting these young people into massive amounts of debt, where it consumes their life and the skill that they're trying to develop with the education. You're forever and a day paying it off. Most of these people default on it, and it's the highest cause of financial debt in the world. And your man had a great idea where he said, what if about, instead of making them use the money for education, whether they gave them the money and they said, you can do whatever you want with it. You can travel, you can build a business, you can learn a skill, you can do education if you want, but you can choose to do anything that you want to do with this money. You don't have to just spend it on some meaningless piece of paper. And I thought that's a great idea, but it's kind of like the same thing. It's like people are, there's things that are in place for very, very specific reasons. You know, we can get into them or not, but these things are there for very, very specific reasons. And it's to build and breed sheep, you know, because that's what makes the world go round.
I think some sheep need the kennels. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's the correct analogy, but need their little gate.
Yeah.
To feel safe.
Yeah, of course.
Whereas some people are the wolves, some people are the lions.
Yep.
And I know, because of these readings, I know that some people would thrive being the sheep.
Yeah.
That literally feel fulfillment by working an ordinary job.
Yep.
And having a family. Like,
Yep.
that's fundamental for these people.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
think it's a bad thing.
No, it's not a bad thing at all. You know what I mean?
And I think there should be more strive for people to do the normal jobs, man. Because they're the people that create the world, that construct, that
Yeah.
build great things. Like, I myself was a soldier, and before that I was a boilermaker, welding. And I built the aircon duct system that was inside of a supermarket. And the feeling you get from contributing towards bettering society is so fulfilling. And I think that, I have to go back on my reading to prove it. I think that was a fundamental pivot point for myself to think outside of my own means.
Yes.
And so these people you find are the most humble people, are the ones that are working these jobs that benefit society.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think that's a powerful thing.
Yeah, 100%. Like I said, you know what I mean. It's each to their own, and if that's the avenue that's best suited to you, that's completely fine as well, you know. But I think the one thing that is missing from today's society is options. You know, there's not a whole lot of options out there, but like you said, I don't think we really have them anyway, do we?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're kind of gone, but it's a complete different way of thinking, isn't it, really? You know what I mean?
So crazy.
Pretty determined.
Yeah, like, I know companies that use this same system that I use to analyze you, to analyze key individuals to employ.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's a strategic operation. So
Yeah, for sure. There you go.
So crazy. So now you have a compass that can guide you through life. Mm-hmm. We set it to like the year 2100. So
Yeah, nah.
yeah, so you should be well set.
I'm well set. I have it till I think it was 80, between 88 and 90.
Yeah,
I think it
yeah,
was,
yeah. So
yes.
there's a pattern there. There's a pattern.
Yeah, yeah. So, you know, God willing, everything is good, and you know, I'll be in me rocking chair. You know what I mean? Reminiscing on the good old days.
In the golden rocket chair, what is it?
Yeah. Well, look, we'll see. But yeah, no, I'm super appreciative of the time and the effort, the energy that you put into it, and stuff like that as well, because it's a very valuable thing for sure.
No, I'm glad that you see the value in it, brother. Like, and it was an honor to actually do that with you. Like, I love seeing people just open their eyes and go, "There's more to life than just this."
Yeah,
Just the working the 9 to 5.
Yep.
Stuck in the material world. Like, what's the point of overcoming lust?
Yep.
Like, oh, I was actually surrounded by beautiful people, and now I've done this righteous path, and now I'm alone, and I've been alone for 3 years.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what's the point?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
providing that insight towards, like, yeah, there is a bigger point. There is a higher point. There's a knowledge
Yeah,
of so much
100%.
information.
Yeah, 100%. And like, it makes it easy as well, because I think what a lot of people struggle with is like that. Look, I've spent years on my own. You know what I mean? And it's like it's where like people will say like, oh, you know, I don't like being on, like. It's like I could do another amount of years on my own, whatever it be, 5, 10, because I know what's coming. You know what I mean? But it's like for a lot of people then as well, it's like, you know, they can get caught up with it. It's already been this amount of time. Whoa, why isn't it happening? Da, 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 da. But if you know, it's like, yeah, bro, it's like, chill out. It's gonna happen. It's
Yeah.
fine.
I guarantee those are the people that the same as the friend that I did before is like, you have to learn this material lesson before you succeed, otherwise this year will follow over.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
guarantee it's those types of people.
Yeah.
And you find it's a category like these types of people, you're like, yeah, because it's a.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Nah, makes sense, bro. Makes sense. But yeah, nah, it's all in all, I rated a 10 out of 10. Yeah, 10 out of 10, bro. Hey. It was very, very good, bro. Very, very good. Bring your friends.
Bring your friend. One at a time. I'm but one man with limited one brain capability. I'm already having to reply to like 20 people a day. Be like, this is what it looks like. This is what it looks like.
It's it's wild, bro. I highly, highly recommend. Highly recommend.
Yeah, I'm glad that you have that, because at the base, do you remember like at the very beginning when I walked you through it, it was like, you are this person, do this, don't do that.
Yeah.
Like this decision that's coming, don't do this, do that.
Yeah.
It's like the term, everybody needs a psychologist. But the psychologist tells you about, this is a pattern of behavior, but it's not specific. Like this is very specific. Like, no, you have to lift your right leg and hold for 3 seconds.
Yes.
It's not like move a part of your body.
Yeah.
What part, bro?
Yeah,
like it's
yeah.
very, 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 very specific. It's not vague.
Granular for sure.
Oh,
For
yeah.
sure, bro. For sure. It's it's mind blown. Mind blown.
Now you're changed, man.
That's it, you know what I mean? I had to come to fruition moment, you know what I mean? I'm ready now, and yeah, I'm excited for the future. I'm pumped. I got the clarity. Life is good. You know what I mean? We'll embrace here in the UAE, and yeah, alhamdulillah.
Would you say that you now have an optimistic perspective?
Yeah, for sure. More optimistic than I usually am, anyways. Because I would like to say I'm a pretty optimistic person. But now I've 10x my optimism, bro.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's the aim of the game.
Yeah.
Hence the Instagram name.
Yes. Oh, hey. The penny dropped there. It took me a sec, bro.
1 + 1 = 2.
Yeah, well, it's so to say, lad. If it barks and it has a tail, it's a dog, apparently. You know what I mean?
Wolf.
Yeah. That's funny shit, bro. But yeah, that's it. Very optimistic, and yeah, looking forward to it.
Just wake up every morning just pissing straight excellence.
That's how they say, lad. You know what I mean? Drinking gold medals and all of that.
That's it.
But yeah, bro. That's the one. Until the next one, as they say.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being my first.
Appreciate you, bro.
And,
Appreciate you having me.
Oh, no. Thank you so much, man. It was
Easy,
it was
bro.
fun. I didn't even think it was going to go this well, brother. Well, it takes a
pleasure.
good person to honestly, go down this pathway.
It's a pleasure, Habibi. Thank you, bro. Thank you. It was a great experience. Who knows? We might reconvene in the future when these things can materialize.
Maybe with your kids, and you'll be like, "My dad went on a yacht because of you. It wasn't because of the future. Like you pushed him into leaving me at home alone." And then we had this big party, and I lost my phone.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
because of him.
Yeah, well, Carl will tell you why you lost your phone. Does it mean it?
Yeah. It was written in the stars.
Yes.
Written in the stars, I told you.
This is it, man. This is it. Appreciate you having me on. Good chat, good insights. Hopefully everybody can take a bit of value from it as well, and yeah, gain something from it, use it, and yeah, that's it. Over and out, as they say. My man.
Thank you so much for taking in all that information. I know there was a lot to unfold and unpack there. If you want to know more about what goes into these readings, feel free to comment underneath, and I'll provide the most amount of resources and information into what goes into these readings that provide a fundamental, coherent, evidential pattern of a subjective reality. In hindsight, I'm pushing more towards spiritual, divine understanding, and definitely follow if you want to see more. There are many stories to be heard and many people to be read, and more spiritual enlightenment. Thank you so much for watching.